the Washington Redskins at the time, they didn't want to trade the 5th overall pick. They didn't want to do it. They probably wanted Ricky Williams, or they wanted somebody for their own team. And Ditka just kept dumping shit. No, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. And he got to a deal. You're seriously going to give me the 12 overall, every pick in this draft, plus your 1st and 3rd next year for one guy? They took it. So you want to know how this worked out? 2 years later, the Saints traded Ricky Williams. I think they fired Mike Ditka too. Like, this guy's out of his fucking mind. So that's what they did. This guy's out of his mind. They bought in on name only. They said, hey, man, he's a genius. We're just going to go. Nobody thinks this is smart. Nobody else in the organization bought into that one. I'm sure of it. But they let him do it because he's Mike Ditka, and then we learned right there that Mike Ditka's plumb crazy.
Kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets.
Jets, yes, there he is. What's happening, Jets fans? This is Green Bean. Welcome to the Thursday Thick of It. Coming to you live from the back of my Dodge Ram 2500 turbo diesel gas eating, making me broke machine. That's where that's where I am, man. I'm looking at mountains, nice and pretty, but shit, am I stuck in a truck for real? That's me. So I'm happy to be here. I've been looking forward to this one all day, as I do every Thursday, I think. I really, once I get like around noon, 1 o'clock, I start watching the clock. Like, I can't wait to hang out. That's what it is. And we have a whole bunch of fun stuff to talk about. I know a lot of people are angry out there. So many Jets fans. I did a little peruse of Twitter before I came on, and I laughed my ass off. Oh, my God. We are the most fun. And I can't wait to take some of that energy and bring it on in here. But what would I be doing if I didn't get some help? I don't want to do this alone. So let's bring on the co-host with the most, Frankie from Flatbush. What's up there, Frankie?
What's up, Green Bean? And where else would you rather be on a Thursday night? There's all sorts of transactions happening. People are getting traded. People are getting released. People are going all over the place. And the Jets are making moves, too.
That's right.
Big ones. Gripe about it intelligently.
Well, I'm glad to see you, Frankie. And right, we are going to try to add a little bit, to interject with a little bit of intelligence into the gripe. We are an emotionally based lot. Is that fair? That's a fair statement, right? We like to be.
50 years of losing, we're a little emotional. We're a little sensitive.
We are sensitive, right? We are a little sensitive. And my hope tonight is that we can deconstruct some of these feelings and then get us to the point where we think, oh, I'm not that upset. That's what am I so pissed about? I'm just sensitive after 50 years of complete horseshit. So, Frankie, you alluded to something. I know there's a lot going on out there, but why don't you just get right to brass tacks here? You said the Jets are making some moves. So I've been up to my ears in baloney today. So tell me what those are. I'm dying to hear what the Jets' moves are today.
Well, it's very interesting, Green Bean, because the business office of the Jets must have gone to Joe Douglas, and they said, Joe, you got to help us out. We got to sell some tickets. We got to sell some suites. There's all this excitement going on. Russell Wilson's going over here. Carson Wentz is going over there. Aaron Rodgers is doing this. We got Khalil Mack being traded. All these big names are going all over the place, Joe. We need to do something because we, the Jets, need to sell tickets. We got to sell the suites. We got to sell sponsors. Help us out, Joe. And Joe Douglas goes, I got you. Jaime. We got Connor McDermott.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, not only that. we also got LaMarcus Joyner back for a year.
See? Nice. I like it.
And Will Parks.
Okay. See,
so-
you lost me for a minute, but Will Parks brings it back around, Frankie. I'm with you.
And Joe Douglas is just sitting there going, I don't give a crap about any of this. I'm signing the guys we want to sign for the next year. I'm signing my low-level guys, and that's it. I don't care about your business side. We're doing what we need to do. I'm just going to sit here, wait, and do my thing, and you're just going to have to deal with it, business side of the house.
Yeah. So, look, let me ask you, and then we're going to get into the chat. This is going to be a chat-heavy stream, I think. I really want to give you guys in the chat an opportunity to vent, share, however it comes out. I want to give you the opportunity to let your thoughts be heard. But I want to ask Frankie. So the big one today, obviously we're not trading for a quarterback. I mean, they did tell us, Jeremy put out a video not too long ago about the Jets being, what was it, the best odds to land Aaron Rodgers, I think it was. So, there has been stupid talk about it from these talking heads out there. Not Jeremy. Jeremy just reported on. But we knew we weren't going to get a quarterback. We did that last year. So Russell Wilson, Carson Wentz, that's all what it is. But Khalil Mack, this is one that seems to be getting the Jets fans' panties in a bunch, Frankie. And so I'll ask you, is this something, do you think we dodged a bullet? Do you think we missed an opportunity? What do you see with the Khalil Mack thing? He went to the Chargers for a second and a fifth next year. What do you think about that?
Well, of course, we would love to have the talent of a Khalil Mack, but when you're a team that's got 6 wins over the last 2 years, you can't really expect to land the top talent, either in a trade or free agency. What is Khalil Mack going to do? Come here and be unhappy and get paid $18 million, $23 million, $23 million? We don't have that kind of money for one player, and we're not one player away. So we're not in the position to get a Khalil Mack. The Chargers have to win right now. They got to win now. It doesn't matter what they call. The Rams got to win right now. Those type of teams, the 49ers got to win right now. They're in the window. All these teams are in the window, and they make win now moves. It doesn't matter how much the player costs. We're not in that position. Well, Khalil Mack would improve the team greatly. Don't get me wrong. He's a fantastic player, and you'd love to have him. But he's getting old, and he's very expensive, and we're not going to be going to the Super Bowl next year. So
probably not. It's
probably not. Let's be honest. We won 4 games last year. 4.
Yeah.
And some of them just barely. So it's not, we don't play. We're not in that arena yet. We're not in that pool of top tier teams that can attract the top talent like that. It's just not realistic for us. Now, if we acquire someone like that, I'd say great, wonderful. But I just don't see it as a big deal. It's not, we're not in that. We're just not in that pool yet. We're not in that pool.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. And we're going to get deeper into the Khalil Mack thing in a bit. Another one that you brought up was that the Jets signed LaMarcus Joyner. And Jets Forever, who has been, what's funny, Frankie? Jets Forever has been around a long time with us. Yeah, I think he's like one of the originals, at least in my brain. And I don't recall him being such a grump. The last few weeks, I mean, last week in the mock, Frankie, I had Ryan on from Jets Talk 24/7 in the mock. Every single player that we discussed, Jets Forever said he's a bust. Every single one. Now, he's probably having a little fun, but he says this, and I'll say a few things, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, and then we're going to get deeper into the chat and more about Khalil Mack and some of the other things that we did. He said, signing Joyner and Parks means that the coaching staff believes in Ashton Davis and Jason Pinnock to be our star safety duo. Are you drawing such firm conclusions, Frankie, this early? Free agency hasn't even started yet, but the fact that we signed LaMarcus Joyner for 1 year means that the Jets are starting Pinnock and Ashton Davis, and they're completely comfortable. Are you at that point yet, or do you think this is maybe just a touch premature?
Yeah, I mean, we got to see what other moves are made. I mean, so to me, all we can really know right now is that this is protection. So they feel like they needed some protection at safety to some degree. And so I don't know what this means yet. So, for example, an alternate theory, Jets Forever, could be that this means that they're saving up their money to spend it elsewhere, like maybe on a tight end or a wide receiver or a linebacker. Maybe they're being thrifty at safety because they feel like they need to spend the big bucks at right guard or wide receiver or tight end or what have you. Cornerback, Carlton Davis. Maybe this means they're going to sign Carlton Davis, who's going to cost a pretty penny. And so they need to get some talent, low-level talent in some places. So maybe they feel like, okay, at safety, we can get some low-cost guys because we're going to have to spend a lot over here and over here. So I don't know what it means. It could mean a lot of different things. If they don't do anything else, I mean, I think LaMarcus Joyner going to start out of that foursome. If it's those four at the end, when we're going into camp, I think LaMarcus Joyner starts. It's probably Joyner and Davis, if I had to guess.
Yeah, maybe. I think you're right. You're on it. It's like it's insurance. I mean, if Harry was saying earlier in the chat, if hey, if we double LaMarcus Joyner's production from last year, we'll have him for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I think it's way premature. I mean, we don't know. They could have designs on Marcus Williams, Lewis Cine, Kyle Hamilton. We might be bringing in 4 new safeties. We don't know. We don't know. This is just, hey, I got an opportunity to bring in a guy cheap. He's been a pro for a long time. Got hurt last year. I'm bringing him in. You know what I mean?
It could mean that they're going to cut Ashton Davis. It could mean they don't believe in Ashton Davis at all, and let's get rid of him. Free up some space, and then we got Joyner and Parks and Pinnock, and then we draft somebody, whatever it might be.
That is an excellent point. Jets Forever. How come you didn't see it that way? We just brought in somebody. How does bringing in a safety mean that the safeties that were here before we brought him in are locked in? That's right, Frankie. That's a good point. So Mitt Flair checks in with the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Mitt. I do appreciate it. Why pay a free agent safety $15 million a year when you can draft one at pick 4? I'm not saying lock him in at 4, but if Icky, KT, and Hutch are gone, just take the best player available. In my opinion, that would be Hamilton. Right. And look, Mitt Flair, even if you're not talking about using number 4, again, we've talked about this numerous times. This happens to be, from many vantage points, the strongest safety class since 2002. That's what we're talking about. And even if it's not the strongest, it's among the strongest safety classes we've seen in quite a long time. So why pay a guy $15 million? And they still might choose to do that too. Like, we need a few safeties. So when you can draft one in the first, in the second, in the third, and more than likely get a starting quality, impact type of a player. So yeah, man.
It could mean that they're out on Hamilton, for example. It could mean they're going to try and go edge and, let's say, cornerback in 4 and 10. And they're going to say, okay, in the second round, we'll get Lewis Cine, or we'll get Jaquan Brisker, somebody like that, who's not as high quality as Hamilton. Therefore, we need a little bit more insurance with Joyner and Parks. Not that they're good, but just a little bit of insurance at the position.
Yeah, right. And I think, guys, again, we haven't even hit free agency. We're seeing Joe Douglas the week before free agency just start to lock up some guys. That's all it is. It's nothing more. It's nothing less. That's about it. Now, I'm happy about McDermott. I am. I talked about him in a video or two about, I think that he should be one of the guys that we probably bring in. One of the things with offensive line in particular, but across the team, guys, is that if you have guys that went through that whole tumultuous rookie year learning the system, as we know, our offensive line is considered one of the more complex systems that we've seen here in quite some time. It took the offensive line a long time to get it. You got a guy who went through the whole year. He got some playing time, had an exciting moment. Keep him as the pipeline guy, right? Like, keep these guys around. Right. And flipping guys every single year. Sorry, go ahead, Frankie.
I was just going to say, Jet, depth is so important. We saw it last year. You can never have enough offensive line depth. They get hurt, and they don't perform, and they retire all of a sudden, and they decide they're going to go spend their time investing in Bitcoin or something, and then they leave. And, and you never know what happened with Alex Lewis. Does anybody know still what happened with Alex Lewis? I don't think so. So it's
Well,
just depth, and you can never have too much depth.
I agree. And, again, don't forget, too, that if signing guys right now does not mean that they're going to be on the roster. It doesn't mean anything. These are just, hey, look, we signed a bunch of future contracts, guys like Bradley and I. We even signed Matt Amendola to a futures contract. I'd like to see us lock up that other kicker that we brought in, this, what's his name again?
Pinheiro.
Yeah, Pinheiro. I'd like to see maybe he get, I'd like to see, all right, let's do this. This is what we'll parlay this into. If the next, well, let's just say your top 3 priority free agents, Frankie, and I'm going to bounce this to the chat as well. So we signed Will Parks, we signed LaMarcus Joyner, and we signed Connor McDermott. Who do you think our 3 priority free agents should be from your perspective before we even hit free agency? Who do you want to see locked up? I'll bounce that to the chat. So guys like Wild Wave and Pekulik and Postman and Mark Riz and Stud City and Eric Craig, get in on this. Let me know who the guys are that you want to see from our own team locked up before we hit free agency. And I'll bounce that over to you, Frankie. 3 priority free agents.
Yeah, for me, it would probably be Berrios, 1. I'd probably go Coleman and Bodden at this point.
Ooh, what 2 running backs, one of them being a fullback. You mind explaining yourself? You think Tevin Coleman is a priority, huh? I need some explanation here.
Well, I feel like we're going to get a running back 2 in the draft. So he's my running back 3, and he can be had cheaply for $1 million, $1.5 million. You can get a guy like Coleman to be your running back 3. He plays special teams, so he's a backup returner as well. So I think he's just a good value, and he fits in. He likes it here. We like him. He likes us. All that kind of thing. Just get him. Yeah, Eric Craig has a good point about LDT. LDT is a big question mark. I don't know what's going on with that guy. But that's another guy I would look at. Foley Fatukasi, Robert Killian saying that's another consideration, of course, too. But I think they're going to let Foley go. That's my sense. I could be wrong.
I
didn't see them signing Joyner either. But for me, I just think Bodden and Coleman are good values for what they do. And then Berrios obviously is our perfect wide receiver 4 and special teams player.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll give you my 3. And just to clarify, guys, I'm talking about, I see Joe Campione and Never Image Entertainment. They're talking about some external free agents. We'll get into that a little bit later. We're talking about our own free agents right now, guys. Who do you think the priorities should be before we even hit free agency? Just like we saw today, we can negotiate with our own guys now before anybody else has the right to do so. So which guys do you want to see? I'm seeing a whole bunch of Berrios. I see Liam Riordan, Harry, what's up, Rusty Spooner? I see you, buddy. John Postman from Pure Adrenaline Fantasy Sports, Berrios, Mark Riz, Berrios. Joe Pekulik thinks about it and says, I'd say Berrios. So yeah, I'll give you my 3, Frankie, and then I'm going to continue to scan. If you see anybody in the chat, let me know. I think it's this: Berrios, LDT, and Kyle Phillips. Those are my 3 priority free agents before we even hit the free agent period. I'd like to see those guys locked up. You want to know why? Berrios, the same reasons you said. I think Berrios could even be a wide receiver 3 in a nice 12, like a 12 personnel kind of offense that brings in the 3 wide receivers for 35% of the plays, and 11 personnel, and then, can kind of rotate in. I think he can be that guy. I do. But if not, wide receiver 4, kick returner, still has plenty of value. I think he's a guy like Joe Douglas said in the presser down at the combine. He said, you want to keep the guys that do things the right way. And Berrios is one of those guys. So fucking keep him, Joe Douglas. Yeah. What's the story? Yeah. But LDT is obvious. I mean, he might not be the ultimate goal at right guard, but he is definitely a significantly slimmer fall from the top than a guy like Greg Van Roten or any of these other guys that we brought in. And Kyle Phillips, if we're letting Fatukasi go, I think Kyle Phillips, he was an undrafted free agent. He's been here the whole time. He's done quite well. We noticed his impact the week that he came in off injury last year. And I think, keep as many of your young guys as you can,
Yeah, I like Kyle Phillips too. He's a restricted free agent, so all we have to do is tender him. He should be an easy one. I kind of consider him in the bank. If we let him go, I think that'd be a surprise. I think we can bring him back for about 2.5 or something like that million, which is for the role he plays. It's a value. So I would be I would go with Kyle Phillips too. LDT is interesting. It'll be really interesting to see what kind of a contract they offer LDT. So if they sign LDT for 4 or 5 million, they see him as a backup. If they sign him for 9, 10, 8, 9, 10 like that, 11 maybe, that'd be too much probably. Then they see him as the starter. And if that's the case, then we're probably not getting Icky. We're probably not getting Evan Neal. We're probably not getting Zion Johnson because they locked up LDT for big money. So, I'd like him as a backup, and basically replace GVR. Just give him 4 or 5, let him, and then you cut GVR. You give him GVR's money, and we go that way.
That's right. And then you essentially got LDT for 2 million. That's how I would look at it. But look, if you do give LDT starter money, and William Malpica says that, he goes, that guard from Canada, what the hell's his name? Yeah, that's right. We're with
Dr.
you, William.
Larry.
So that's LDT. Laurent Duvernay Tardif, Dr. Blocker. I like it, like you said, if they give him, $8 to $11 million, then he's the starter. But that doesn't preclude us from grabbing a Tyler Smith in the 3rd, or one of these other guys in the 3rd or 4th round.
I'd be surprised if Tyler Smith goes to the 3rd.
Yeah, well, I know we're talking about him as a 2nd round pick or something like that now. But yeah, you heard that we were down there in Tulsa checking him out. Dom C gave us quite the breakdown in the Patreon positional breakdown last night. That was fantastic. He said he's putting his name on Tyler Smith. He said, you'll see, this is the gem, Tyler Smith. So that'd be interesting.
A lot of the teams are thinking they have a secret crush on Tyler Smith, and they're all going, "Don't talk about him too much. Don't talk about him." And meanwhile, every team knows how good he is. So it's
yeah, that's the funny thing. We give ourselves a lot more power, but I think all these teams. I mean, there's always going to be a secret gem, guys that one team likes, but overall, 99 out of every 100, every team knows. Every team knows about it.
It's hard. It's not like the old days when people didn't have the information. Everybody's got all the information now.
Yeah, it's like the beginning of those movies when you pull up in your pickup truck to a farm and the guy's throwing hay, and he was the high school championship 3 years ago. His best score. He threw that pass 144 yards, and nobody. Now he just had to go help his family, and that's not real anymore. The ones. So Eminon is saying LDT, Pinheiro, and Barrios. Stud City says LDT. John Amarella, what's up, John? He says Barrios, LDT, and I can't name a 3rd. He cannot name a 3rd, John Amarella. I'm disappointed, my friend. I'm disappointed. Never Image Entertainment says what Frankie said. He agrees with you.
That's good.
And Chris Bradigan, he likes LDT and Barrios, but he's talking about re-signing Foley, Fatukasi. I would be happy if we re-signed Foley, but I happen to agree with you, Frankie. I think he's going to be a guy that's probably going to get $10 to $13 million, and I just don't think I don't think the Jets are going to give him that because he's not the perfect fit for the 4-3. So good for Foley. It's been a good one.
Yeah, I love Foley, and if we brought him back, I'd be happy. He's a great guy. Great locker room guy, leader. Love him as a person, A+ human. But I just think they're going to let him walk.
Yeah, captain. He's one of our captains. So Mark Riz brings up another one. Moses. What do you think about Morgan Moses? He's technically our free agent. What do you think about bringing him back? What do you think it would cost, Frankie?
Another A+ human. It's hard to assess his value because I don't know how teams see him. He did well last year, but not super well. If he wants to be a starter, he can't start here, probably. So I don't know, but if other teams see him as a starter, he's going to leave. But if we can get him for backup money, I'd love to have him. Another A+ human, great guy. Love him in the locker room, all that stuff, and a good player. But he's not going to play over Fant and Becton. So, if he wants to come back and be a backup, okay. But I think he's going to go get starter money, and you can't blame him.
Well, one of the things Morgan Moses said in his exit interview, he said, what I like so much about this place is that it's best 53 play. He said it's real here, which a lot of teams preach that stuff. But then there's that, a couple of guys are like, they're slacking off and they're just a big name, so they play. So who knows? Maybe they bring him on and say, hey, look, guys, we know Fant did well. We know Becton, did what he did. He's first round pick, Morgan Moses. But you guys are going to have a competition and best guy plays. And the third of you gets to play center. What do you think of that? There we go.
And it would also inform our draft. If we bring back LDT and Moses, then we just don't need offensive linemen in the draft. So then that tells you where we're going that way. So a lot of it depends on cost. Somebody was saying 7.7 for Morgan. Boy, that's a number that would make me think. He's worth it. So, if that's real, I don't know where that number comes from. But if it is 7.7, boy, I'd have to think long and hard about getting him. He's worth it. Yeah,
I would agree. So we have a super chat from Jared Helmuth. He says he's hearing rumors that Frankie could be and may or may not be potentially, that's a lot to, could be or may not be potentially bullying the mayor of Clowntown, Daniel Kelly. So I'm gonna tell you guys honestly, I have no idea what the hell we're talking about. So Frankie, what the hell is this? What does this mean?
It's an inside joke, actually, for subscribers. It's an inside joke. So we got something going on the Frankie from Flatbush channel where we say people, if these reporters, Green Bean, they put out crazy articles like this guy, Daniel Kelly. He said the Jets' first priority in the offseason should be special teams. So we said, all right, this guy, Daniel Kelly, he's the mayor of Clowntown. That's how they talk here in Pittsburgh. That's where I get it from. The mayor of Clowntown. So that's what he's talking about. And then when we do Tuesday News Day on the channel, if there's people putting out stupid articles like that, like we should trade the 10th overall pick for Danielle Hunter, with his $27 million cap hit. That's also something Daniel Kelly said. That's why he's the mayor of Clowntown.
Got it.
Some people just live in Clowntown. Daniel Kelly, he's the mayor.
He's running the joint. He's like the mayor of Main Street down in Disney World. Did you know that Main Street has a mayor, Frankie? When you pull up, when you go there, see, like I'm a big theme park guy, as you guys know, and I study and I know things about places. And when you get to Disney early for what we call rope drop, you get to see, so you're standing out there with a crowd at the gate and the train pulls up. Every day they do this. The train pulls up and Mickey and Minnie and all the goofy, they arrive at the park via the train for a full day of thrills. And also on that train is the mayor. And I think his name is Mayor Cleaver. And you walk up to the mayor, you go, hey, how you doing? He goes, hey, how are you? Welcome to Main Street. And he hands you a little business card that says, pull the lever for Cleaver. That's what he says. Did you guys see? You learn everything. You're always learning on this show, Thursday Thick of It. So Jets Forever checks back in. He says, cut Croft, Wesco, Brown, Griffin, and Bawden. Now, I see an affront on a specific group of players.
What did Bawden do wrong, Forever? What did Bawden do wrong? All he did was block and catch a pass that one time. He's going to cost you $1 million to get a decent blocker. What did Nick Bawden do wrong?
You want to know what he does? Well, because he takes LaMichael Pirine off the field, and I don't like it.
Michael Pirine's not getting on the field no matter what, Green Bean. He's having Bawden. He's not doing something in the practice. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, they gave him the wrong directions. I don't know, man. It's a weird thing. I think that they it's a personal assault on our buddy LaMichael Pirine. But I like Bawden too. That one of the last games in the year, he got into a physical fight with the other team because they were picking on somebody.
Yeah, he was on special teams. He's blocking. He went out for one pass. He caught it. Okay. He didn't do anything wrong. And he's going to be cheap. Might as well keep him.
Yeah, the rest though, I gotta say, Jets forever. I'll co-sign that. I agree. I mean, Tyler Croft, Ryan Griffin, Brown, Wesco. I mean, I do like Wesco, but dude, they gave him a chance last year. I mean, they put him out of position and all that. We don't know. He's a really solid player, but if he can't have an impact, he can't have an impact. Get the guy that can have an impact. That's how I see it. So Sean McAteer says he'd say LDT and Berrios, but he doesn't want to overpay for either. Now, that's the interesting thing. Now, what are you thinking, ultimately, what do you think Berrios is going to get out there?
Sometimes teams overpay, but his value is $6 million. That's his value. Everybody agrees. Every projection I've seen from all the people who know these things, they all say about $6 million. So we can give him a 3-year deal. We'll step it up. He'll give you a little raise every year, no problem. Braxton and the other thing that Braxton and his representation should understand is that he's got opportunity here. You go somewhere else, you may not get the opportunity. You go up to New England, they're going to ask you to block all day long. Just ask N'Keal Harry how fun that is to stand on the edge of the line and block people all day long. Yeah, you want to have some fun. You want to do some end around, some jet sweeps, go out for passes, first down, touchdown, this, that. They were going to have Braxton Berrios throw a pass one time. If you remember that one play where he was going to throw but he was covered. Yeah. Wilson was covered, so he just ran it right in. We just ran it and stuff, Braxton. We got hook and laterals. We got everything over here.
Right. Who the hell else is going to run a hook and ladder with you? Come on.
Right in the middle of the game, not even the end of the game, right in the middle.
Right. Yep. That was an important time frame as well. Jet Life, what's up, Jet Life? Good to see you, buddy. He says, re-sign Greg Van Roten. That guy was great. I agree. I think we cannot move forward without Van Roten. 20 mil a year. So Salty Nuts checks in. Thanks, Salty Nuts. He says, in celebration of our opening salvo in signing Connor McGovern, he means Connor McDermott, I know it, I donate 2 gallons of gas to keep our man Green Bean toasty in the Dodge. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Frankie, at the end of the Monday Night Mock, we got real. We spent like an extra half hour just like kind of talking shop and really peeling our onions back. And I kind of admitted that the gas is killing me. It's killing me, Frankie. I watched the gas. Like yesterday, we did the Patreon thing. When I drove to the parking lot to meet with everybody, it was $5.39 for a diesel gallon. When I drove home, it was $5.89.
Wow.
Like 2 hours, 50 cents. I can't live. So thank you, Salty Nuts Magoo. I appreciate that. Let's see what else we got here. We got a couple more super chats I want to get to. Thomas Cahill, thank you for the super chat. He says, 1 lineman, draft Ickey, keep Moses 1 year. So 1 lineman, draft Ickey.
Boy, I tell you something. I love Ickey Ekwonu. I couldn't like a prospect better than Ickey. That kid is going to be special. I'm telling you. That guy is so good. It's a shame, but I don't know if we're gonna. I mean, we might get him, but we might not. I mean, if we don't sign anyone, then again, he could be gone by the time we pick. So,
hey, what if we don't sign anyone and we don't draft anyone either?
Well, we'll definitely draft people, but I mean, we got to sign somebody. I mean, getting these low-cost insurance guys makes me wonder what's happening. Well, where's the big money going? It's got to be going somewhere.
It's going to be going somewhere. Frankie, don't have no fear. Joe Douglas is here. You know what I mean? Have no fear. I think, guys, the truth is we don't have any real big name. I mean, Berrios and Fatukasi are about as big as we got. LDT is very important in my opinion. But the truth is that we could sign everybody and it's not going to be that big of a deal for us. It's not going to be Khalil Mack, Russell Wilson, or all that kind of stuff. So let's just wait and see what Joe Douglas is doing. And that first 3 days of free agency, the 2 days with the window and the first day, let's see what he pulls together. In my opinion, we are going to see a little bit more aggressive. Never going to be Tanny. I don't think he's ever going to be Tannenbaum, Trader Mike. But I do think that we're going to see a slightly more aggressive Joe Douglas. I predict a guard, a tight end, maybe not a tight end anymore, but a guard and a defensive back. That's what I think's coming first 72 hours. So let's see. But I agree with you, Thomas Cahill. I'd like to keep Morgan Moses, but I don't know. I think we can upgrade. Like Frankie said, it's not like he blew the doors off. He was just steady, and he played. That's the other thing. You know, you can't undervalue availability. Iowan Jets fan, 10 more miles from Iowa. Thank you. I'm actually looking forward to more than one half of Joyner. Tell me about it. So, Frankie, this signing of LaMarcus Joyner, like Iowan Jets fans talking about, does it excite you? Are you kind of like, were you happy that we had him last year and you were really disappointed, or was it kind of meh from the beginning? Where do you stand on LaMarcus Joyner signing?
Well, the way I'd put it is we get another bite at the apple. Remember, LaMarcus Joyner was transferring to a new position. He wasn't a safety before. He was a nickel cornerback. And he said, actually, you know, I'm better at free safety. And we said, yeah, we looked at the tape, and Coach Olbrecht looked at the tape and said, yeah, we agree. Let's bring him in here. And we were going to see, you know, whether he could do it. And we were looking forward to that. And I heard fans from other teams like the Patriots say, I don't care what position LaMarcus Joyner plays. He stinks. So I said, okay. And these were knowledgeable people who were saying this. And I said, all right, maybe they're right. I don't know. But we didn't get to see it because he got hurt in the very first game. We have no idea what he was going to be as a free safety. So this year, if it's true that we don't upgrade from him talent-wise, then we'll see if he could become an okay free safety. We don't know. Obviously, we like him. Also, another A-plus human being. He's a great guy, apparently, from all I know and understand. So, you know, I don't know. I'd like to upgrade on the talent, though. He is a guy that was supposed to kind of be a stopgap until we got better talent. And now I think he's an insurance piece. I mean, we signed Will Parks and LaMarcus Joyner on the same day. I think that tells you they want a little insurance, but it's about why is it the insurance? Is it because we're not getting safety until the second round? You know, in other words, we're passing up on Hamilton, or is it because we just need to spend our money elsewhere? I mean, LaMarcus Joyner, we got to see. He was supposed to transfer to free safety. He never did. His season got cut short. But if I had to guess, I'd say he's probably not great. He's probably back at quality.
If I had to guess, he's probably not all that good.
He's not. I mean, because he came here, and we don't. When we were coming off a 2-win team, and he joyfully joined our squad. How
Well, maybe he, we hear all these rumblings out there that all.
Green Bean got cut off. Well, and I tell you, thanks for this, Mark.
I hit the back button somehow. You know what it is now? Like my Mac, if I swipe the mouse pad, it goes different pages. I don't like that one bit. But I forgot what I was saying. But something about LaMarcus Joyner sucking. I don't even know. Did he make the play? I don't know. Guys, don't forget to like the video. It's nice and easy. All you have to do is hit that thumbs up. It makes Frankie feel really, really good. After every show, we talk about it. Frankie says, we only got X amount of likes, and then I have to console him. It's a whole thing. So don't forget to like the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Oh, I got to turn my light on, Frankie. Watch this. Watch this, guys. I forgot I had my light with me tonight, so I don't have to sit in the dark. Here we go. Look at that.
Right. That's nice. Good job.
I could do this too. What do you think about this?
Ooh, look at that. You got to go the green one. Obviously.
Green. Yeah, the green. What do you think? Here's my shades of green. Yeah, it's not very good. I'm going to go with the I'm going to go with this. What do you think? So, sorry if you guys were getting worried about me in the dark. I'm safe. Yeah, so I want to get into the Russell Wilson thing, too. I'm going to get into a couple more super chats here. You like the headset, Steve? Yeah, this is my daughter's headset. It's in the car. I forgot my headphones again. I actually did this Tuesday night for Ryan's the Talking Jets panel. And I forgot again. So here they are. And it's better rather than, the sound coming through the mic and everything. So let's get to these super chats. B2B checks in. He says, gas money for the family. There you go. Thanks, B2B. B2B is the newest patron on my Patreon as well. We had a good time last night, man. We got into the offensive line. In another week or two, we're going to be watching, Frankie, the classic Jets game when Chad Pennington beat Peyton Manning head-to-head in the playoffs in 2001. That was when I'm telling you, I believed with every fiber of my being we had him. That was our guy, and I still believe he would have been Chad Pennington if he didn't get injured so much. But, man, was that a fun game. So if you join the Patreon, everybody, the link is right in the description of this video. You get to watch those classic games with us, and we have a good time. Reliving, reminiscing. Oh, it's good. So, but thank you, B2B. I appreciate it. Mark Riz, he checks in as well. He's another patron. He says, #Greens for Beans and DMPGS. What's that mean, Frankie? DM
that one I don't know.
Beans and dem pages. Is that what it is? Mark, you're cooler than me, man. So greens for beans and the miles per gallons. That's what it is. Diesel miles per gallons, Frankie. Thank you, Mark Riz. See, you made me think. I love being forced to think. I don't do it often, so I appreciate it when it happens, you know? So, guys, as we know, let me see. So, as we know, the Seattle Seahawks traded Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos, and it's funny because I think they got fantastic value for a quarterback. He's maybe 5 years or so left. Who knows? He got his first year being injured last year, so we really don't know what's in store. But Russell Wilson is one of the best talents in the league. We can't deny that. But they got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, Noah Fant, who was a first-round pick, Drew Lock, who was a second-round pick, and Shelby, the defensive lineman. I think that's a fantastic trade for them if they were looking to move on. They got it. But a lot of Jets fans are comparing it to the value that we got for Jamal Adams, which is, it's in the same ballpark. Clearly, they got more, but it's in the same ballpark. We got 2 firsts. We swapped a 4th for a 3rd-round pick, and we got Bradley McDougall, who didn't work out, but he was a starting quality safety at the time to hold the fort. And I think a lot of Jets fans I'm hearing, they think Seattle got taken for a ride. Like they could have gotten a lot more. And my question is, how much do you think we're supposed to pay for players anymore? I mean, we're talking about 4 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. I don't think that was ever going to happen. They did say Miami was willing to give 3 firsts and 2 seconds or something. So that's a lot. But I don't know. How do you feel about the value? And then I'm gonna relate this to Jamal Adams in a second. We have a funny video that we found that I want to play for you guys. But do you think the value for Russell Wilson was good, bad? Where do you stand?
Well, the Broncos, again, are in win now mode. So, you have to look at things from where are you on this? Where are you on your cycle? Some teams are going into rebuild mode. Some teams are in the middle. Some teams are in win now. The Broncos feel like, especially if they can re-sign Von Miller, that they're going to the Super Bowl with Russell Wilson. That's what they think. They're going to compete at that level. And so they feel like it wasn't too much to get Russell Wilson on their team if he's going to take them to a Super Bowl or 2. And so what's the point of, there's a saying that comes from the LA Rams where Les Snead says, fuck them picks. Well, you say F them picks when you can acquire people like OBJ and Von Miller in his case, and and those type of people, and Matt Stafford, right, to go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. So for those situations, it makes perfect sense. You say, I don't need future, I need right now. And so that's what they're doing. Now, I'll tell you something else about this trade that's interesting. What is Seattle doing making this trade now and not firing Pete Carroll? You're going to have an 80-year-old head coach sitting there on a rebuild. What I think they're doing is loading up the barrel of the gun of the trade to get Deshaun Watson.
Is that what you think? How interesting.
Because why else did they keep old Pete Carroll chewing his gum when he's 90 years old on the sideline trying to do a rebuild? I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
In fairness, he's only in his 70s, but yeah, I get it. I do. I understand. Maybe Pete Carroll said, "Hey, look, I want to be a part of one more rebuild. Let's gut this thing." And because I mean, who knows? Maybe. So, guys, as we know, this our safety Jamal Adams cried and cried and cried. He gave us a list of teams that he wanted to go to. The Seattle Seahawks was on that list, or were on that list. And why did he give us that list? Because he wanted to go to a winner. He didn't want to be a part of a rebuild. And he goes over to the Seattle Seahawks, and they start rebuilding. And this is a funny little clip that I found for you guys. Frankie, if you can't hear it, let me know, please. So let's watch this, guys, and then we'll see what you guys think.
And a 5th-round pick in.
Wait, here we go.
Audio
Shelby
good.
Harris, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a 5th-round pick in return. This is an insane trade for both sides. First of all, the Seattle Seahawks are getting a Jamal Adams-like return for their trade.
Jamal Adams, I'm the best in the nation. 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 I'm the best in the nation.
The immediate thing that I'm thinking is...
So there it is. Isn't it, though? You know, we're not alone. People say, when are you Jets fans going to stop talking about Jamal Adams? Dude, we're not alone here. This is not just us. You know, this is not just us. The rest of the world sees that they absolutely overpaid for him. And then they got really a guy who was probably underperforming. So I wanted to play that for you guys, but it seems I missed a super chat, Frankie. I want to make sure I don't do that. So Wild Billy Boy checked in. Thank you, Wild Billy Boy. He says, oh, this is a good one, too. Bobby Wagner, 3-year deal, but really a 2. Pay the man. CJ Mosley, Wagner. Frankie, if you bring up the cap, look at Green Bay in this. He's saying, Frankie, don't ruin my buzz, yo. That's what he's saying. So, you know what, Wild Billy Boy? I'm having similar fantasies. Now, he's older, right? We know that. He's been in the league a while. But he is a stud muffin, and pairing him with C.J. Mosley, let's say we paired him with C.J. Mosley, we have Sherwood, and we draft maybe a Chad Muma. You know what I mean? And have Chad Muma kind of groom in with Sherwood and all behind Wagner and C.J. Mosley. That, I mean, I don't know how much you can pay him. You can't pay 2 middle linebacker-ish guys $17 million a year. You just can't do it, you know, devote $34 million to the position. But I got to say, I love the idea. What do you think, Frankie? Without being a bummer, what do you think about it? No, you can be a bummer.
Let me tell you something. I like this move. So I like it. I started thinking about how much, you know, they're both middle linebackers, Mosley and Wagner. So you go, well, maybe it's not the best fit. But actually, we're in dime so much, or nickel so much, I mean, base nickel, that we're in 4-2-5. If your 4-2-5 has 2 linebackers named C.J. Mosley and Bobby Wagner, all right, now you're all right, because those are 2 of the smarter linebackers you'll ever come across.
Right,
in addition
right.
to their physical talent. So I actually like this. I mean, if he wants somewhere at 12, 13, I'm good. If he wants 20 million a year, he's not going to get that. But I mean, you know, if he's reasonable in what he wants and he wants to come here and play for his old coach, Coach Saleh,
right,
I'm actually all for it. And so I like it. I would say, you know, and then you have Jamie and Sherwood. And I mean, you know, what do you do with Hampton Nasruddin? Well, you play him on special teams. You know,
right.
You can stay out there while we have people who
right.
tackle people.
That's right. Beat out Sherwood. You know what I mean? Like hey, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that would change things, wouldn't it, Frankie? It would change how I think about the draft.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't have to use a first on a guy like Nakobe Dean or Devin Lloyd, or even a second on guys like Christian Harris or Chad Muma. Or Asamoah, or whoever you like, Brandon Smith. Maybe you don't have to do that.
Now, the thing I said on Twitter too about Wagner is, you know, he probably wants to go home to Los Angeles. He's from the Los Angeles area. There's 2 teams over there, the Rams and the Chargers, who are both in win now mode, so they don't mind paying him, and they want to try to go to the Super Bowl. So I would think maybe he's going to one of the LA teams, or he's going to Dallas, where the defensive coordinator is named Dan Quinn, who used to be the DC at Seattle when they were the Legion of Boom. So I would think those 3 teams are at least ahead of us. And then there's old Robert Saleh, who also knows Bobby Wagner very well from his time at Seattle. But we're the Jets, and we're not going to the Super Bowl next year. And we had 4 wins on our team, and we play on a rubber field with high income tax. So it's kind of hard.
Yeah. I mean, right, man. We have a couple obstacles, you know, we do. We really do have a couple obstacles here. But I like it too, Wild Billy Boy. I think that would be really exciting. It would level off the Will Parks excitement, you know, like I know we're kind of freaking out.
Yeah, like what if the Parks, McDermott, LaMarcus Joyner deals were pinching penny deals so we could splurge on Wagner? I mean,
yeah.
I was watching video on Wagner from last year to see if he dropped off in his play, and he really hasn't that much. He's really, I mean, he's 30, going to be 32, I think, when the season starts. So you say, he's a little old, but his play last year, he was very good last year. And what he could allow us to do by actually being in the right spots. Hello, Jared Davis. Be where you're supposed to be. It's called assignment and alignment. Hello. But Wagner is one of the smartest linebackers. You pair him with CJ Mosley, and that's something. That's really something.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be something, man. So Joe Pekulik checks in. Thank you. He says, Santa School Fund. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am actively working on setting up my appointment to go to the highest, the most regarded Santa school in the entire country. It's up in Michigan. And I'm going to go there this year and learn how to be a Santa, get my certification. And I'm going to be ho, 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 going all over the place. There was a Santa I was talking to. He makes $300 an hour, and he probably does 6 or 7 in a night. He spends an hour, and he goes, does a few. He says he works for the 2 months leading up to Christmas, month and a half, whatever it is, and he said he doesn't have to work the rest of the year. And I was like, you know, it's funny because he's a Jersey Santa. I'm going to tell you guys a story. When he walked in, we all go to my cousins up in Jersey, and all the kids, their little cousins, 50 kids running around, and Santa comes in. And it's funny, my wife is from Baltimore, my kids are from Florida and Virginia, they don't know anything about New Jersey. And Santa walks in, he doesn't say, ho, 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 I shit you not. Santa walks in and goes, hey, how you doing? I swear to God. I was like, oh yeah, we're here. So I want to comment. Adam S. checks in. He says, you're not even allowed to trade 4 years of picks, so you would need multiple firsts in year 1 to give 4 firsts. Well, that's exactly what it was, Adam. It was the Jets and the Dolphins that were being talked about. The Jets had 4 firsts at the time, including the 2nd overall, and the Dolphins also had 2 years with 2 firsts as well. So that's what it was. You're correct. But you're not correct trying to correct me, you see. We're just closer than you originally thought. But you are right. You're only allowed to trade up to 3 years, I think it is. Right? 2 years ahead of like the current draft and 2 more, I think it is. But thank you, Adam, for the clarification. I don't want anybody to be confused out there. So Bismo Charismo from the land down under checking in. Thanks, Biz. He said, what's that? 3 gas pumps? Thanks for all the content, Green Bean. It's always enjoyable listening to you and Frankie. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I enjoy listening to Frankie, too. I do. I enjoy it. You know, I think I had a dream, Frankie, or you can tell me if it's real. Sometimes I like sleep surf on the internet. Maybe I had a dream that you had a video that reached 5,000 views. Is that accurate?
No, that's a dream.
Oh.
We only have 715 subscribers on my channel. How am I going to get to? I mean, I think the highest one I have, maybe Justin. I did one early on about Justin Fields when everybody was all abuzz about Justin Fields in preseason. So I did a video about Justin Fields, and it got tons of traffic. Maybe that one's up to 5,000, but nothing recently. No.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know, you're on my mind while I lay in my underwear. That's good.
I can't speak to that, Green Bean. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, well, not much, I can assure you. So Bismo, thank you, my friend. I do appreciate it. And I'm glad that you guys enjoy this. I enjoy doing it. That's the truth. Like I said earlier in the show, I sincerely look forward to getting to hang out with all you guys. And we have Jeremy and Wat2K in the back. They'll both be coming on a little bit later. We have Frankie. Like, I look forward to this. It's like hanging out with friends. You guys in the chat are amazing, and I sincerely appreciate it. One of our friends, Cadoza, checks in. He says, my fellow Jets fan friend, would you trade both firsts, both seconds, Zach Wilson and Quinnen Williams for Deshaun Watson? Oh, no. He said, my fellow Jets fan friend would trade. and he wants to know if we would. I'm going to give you the answer to that, and I'll follow you up. Would you trade both our first this year, both our second, Zach Wilson and Quinnen Williams, for Deshaun Watson?
No. I mean, why are we gonna do that? We're gonna build through the draft. That's what we're gonna do. We're building we're building something here, detective. We're building it from scratch, and all the pieces matter. And if you get Deshaun Watson for his $35 million cap hit, you can't have as many other nice pieces. All the pieces matter, and we gotta hope that Zach Wilson becomes on the level of Deshaun Watson. That's the idea. We got to hope and pray to every freaking God in the book, every football God in the book ever created. We got to pray to everybody that Zach Wilson is the man. That's the way to win, because he's on his rookie contract. You got to hope he figures it out by next year, starts getting good, we start winning, and then we can start adding more and more pieces. And then you got to hope, obviously our draft picks this year work out, et cetera, and then we're on our way. So no, this is the type of thing you do if you're Carolina, if you're Seattle now, if you're desperate. We're not desperate. We're not desperate. Now, if Zach Wilson stinks next year, which he could do, it's possible that Zach Wilson stinks it up next year. Then we'll be in a different position. I think we'll be a little bit more desperate, because then we'll start to say, okay, we just totally missed on Zach somehow.
Yeah, I mean, and we have to really hope that's not the case. I mean, look, here's the thing I'll tell everybody that, look, a lot of people are freaking out and they're worried. I got into a Twitter discussion the other day, and the guy said, yeah, that's all great with whatever the hell you're talking about, but the truth is Zach Wilson sucks. So, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, look, guys, remember the pre-buzz, the pre-draft buzz about Zach Wilson. People were literally calling him a hybrid of Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, which would be, I mean, come on. And then guys like Jeremy were drinking a little bit of whiskey and making proclamations, 4,700 yards, 38 touchdowns, stuff like that. And there was a lot of excitement. Now, I got my head chopped off by a lot of Jets fans because I said, guys, I like him. But let's be real here. He's never been under pressure in his career, here and there, but not consistently. He's coming from a smaller school, playing lesser competition, and he's never been under pressure. There's, as good as he may be, there's going to be a severe learning curve when he gets here. And then game one, they got him for 7 sacks, and they killed him. So it's like, I don't see the same concern for Zach Wilson a lot of other people do. Now, I'm not going to say I didn't at any time last year. Of course I did. He's throwing screens into the dirt. I'm like, that's not good. But I think that he came around nicely. He looked calmer. He looked like he was understanding the offense. He mitigated the turnovers to the degree that he didn't have any for 5 weeks. So, hey, I think Zach Wilson, going into next year, he knows the offense now. We don't have to watch him learn it or any of that stuff. And I think we're going to see a significantly improved Zach Wilson in the event we are able to protect him and his friggin' receivers stop dropping passes. But I wouldn't make that trade either, Cardoza. That's way too much and especially, I mean, this is even assuming that all that legal stuff goes bye-bye. But we don't even know what that is right now. And that's a little bit much. I mean, he didn't even play last year because of this stuff.
We are finding out something tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to find out apparently about Deshaun Watson's criminal cases. We're going to find out if the grand jury is going to vote to bring charges, I guess, against Deshaun Watson. So some of that should begin to clear up tomorrow. And so we'll see what happens.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And obviously if they bring charges, you can forget about Deshaun Watson, but at least for now. So, but no, I mean, I think we got to see now. I think, the interesting thing is, and the perspective I keep on Wilson is, Jets fans are very optimistic, and they should be based on the progress we saw last year. But at the same time, anybody objectively looking at Wilson's year, if you just look at the stats or whatever, you're just looking at it and you don't know all of the circumstances like we do, you will say, this Zach Wilson guy stinks.
Yeah, he stinks. Totally.
And if you're just looking at it and you don't know all the circumstances and don't know all the, all of the improvement stuff and how good he was at the end of the year versus the beginning, then you're going to look at it and say he stinks. And you got to understand that's going to be the perspective of most people who are not paying close attention to the Jets. And that's most people. Most people, I hate to tell you, are not paying very close attention to a 4-win team stumbling around out there. So,
yeah, and a lot of Jets fans are even casual. You know what I mean? Like, remember that video that they put out of they were interviewing people in the Jets stadium, in the stadium before a Jets home game, and they were asking them, like, who's your favorite player on the team? And they didn't even know. Like, a lot of Jets fans are like, I don't know, Mark Gastineau, Joe Namath. And it's like, I mean, it's embarrassing, but it's like, the truth is that when there's 80,000 people in that stadium, probably 10,000 are us. The rest are guys just like, hey, we're going to go make some sausages. I'm going to go get a little sausage. I'm going to get some onions and peppers. I'm going to have a good time, drink a little whiskey, go in and watch this team. That's what it is, So, Wild Billy Boy, thank you again. He says, for Green Bean's gas tank and Frankie's salary cap. That is good. Thank you, Wild Billy Boy. I appreciate that. Frankie, I know we got to make some room for Frankie's cap. He's always telling us that we can't do things,
Well, we can do anything we want. The thing I say, Green Bean, is we can do anything we want. We just can't do everything we want. That's all.
Right. So Jets Forever wants to remind us that Leo Chanel sucks. Right. Thank you, Jets Forever. That's good. John Salty Nuts checks in. He says, it would be good to get Wagner, so when Quinnen gets run over, we'll have a good linebacker to be there. That's a good point, man. But you don't like Quinnen? I like Quinnen Williams. Now, again, you guys know I was very, very vocal the whole time. I never wanted to pick Quinnen Williams. That was not my pick. I was upset that we didn't trade back, or if we had to stay put, that we didn't take Josh Allen, the edge rusher. But that said, Quinnen Williams is still a young guy, man. He's 24 years old. He's got boatloads of experience. And I think he's a good guy, too. Like, he's working. He's really working. And I think we're going to see a big year from him. He had his best year last year. You know what I mean? So he's still on the upward trend, right, Frankie? Do you agree?
I think he and Quincy are going to the C.J. Mosley Beast Basement. From what I understand, they're going right to the Beast Basement to work out with C.J. So I expect big things from Quinnen and Quincy. Both the Q's brothers. I expect big things from them.
The Q's brothers. I like that. Like the Blues brothers. But see, now Quincy Wilson, guys, I like him too. And I think that he came out of nowhere last year and gave us a few fun moments. You know what I mean? Really, he gave, number one being when he just absolutely creamed Derrick Henry. That was a thing of beauty. But the truth is he's probably not a full-time player. He's a guy that let him go on special teams. He plays hard on special teams and let him get 15% of the snaps, giving guys breathers and all that. And he'll come in with all of his piss and vinegar, and he'll be able to produce impact plays in that capacity. But full-time starter, you could see it. He disappeared, So I don't know. He makes me a little concerned if we're going to start him every game. So Frankie, we got the biggest super chat that has ever come in on my channel, Frankie.
Wow.
Let me see. Oh man, I'm way behind on the chat too. You guys are killing it tonight. I got to catch up. So Ben Elmore, thank you, dude. I appreciate it. This is a color super chat I have never seen on this channel. I don't think. But I appreciate it. He says, love the content, man. Have a little gas on me. I'm going to tell my wife, you know what I'm going to do, Ben? I'm going to go into Walmart and buy a bunch of cookies now because of you guys. I'm going to maybe even give my kids some cookies. But, Frankie, I don't know if you heard me talk about this, and I'll tell Ben, there's a place here. I actually was driving into a shopping center, the T-Mobile or whatever, and I saw this sign, and it literally made me slam on my brakes. My wife got mad at me and everything. It said, spaghetti by the bucket. Spaghetti by the bucket, Frankie. So it's called By the Bucket, and they sell like a pound of spaghetti or a pound and a half of spaghetti with meatballs, and they give you a loaf of garlic bread. So I gotta try it, right, Frankie? Are you, what do you think? You think it's going to be any good, or you think I'm just, I'm going to be disappointed in there with the bucket of spaghetti?
I would ask what kind of bucket. I mean, are we talking about a metal bucket? What are we talking about?
No, it looks like a KFC bucket. I'm going to show you guys right now.
Because I would not trust spaghetti in a metal pail. That's not exactly.
I wish I remembered who it was, but if you're on here, tell me. somebody said that in their village, when they were growing up, they used to pull up to the drive-thru with an actual bucket, like a pot, and you would bring it in, and they would take your pot in and fill it with tomato, with marinara sauce or whatever it might have been. But yeah, and they would give it to you. They would fill your pot with stuff. I got to get these images here. Hold on a second. I'll show you the bucket right now. Why does it keep going to this? Okay, I'm going to just have to do this. Here we go. I'm going to show you guys what the bucket looks like real quick. By the bucket. Oh, I fucking canceled it. My hands. I'm so tight in here, Frankie. It's like hard to move. It's hard to move in here, guys. I apologize. I'm tight in the back of this.
Not exactly a broadcast studio.
Right. Not exactly. Correct. So do you guys see it? So this is what it is, right? Look, you can see it right here.
I mean, it looks like a popcorn bucket. You're going to trust spaghetti in a popcorn bucket?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think that's not Italian. That's my Italian mother would not be very keen on that. It doesn't seem Italian to me.
Well, look at this over here. This is somebody that liked it. They're at the bottom of the bucket. But look at the prices, Frankie. You get a familia, feeds 5 people. I mean, that's going to feed me, but $15 for a pound and a half of spaghetti with the sauce and half a loaf of garlic bread. What do you think?
I mean, that's a lot of carbs. How about a salad? Can we get a little mix in?
Frankie. That's it. I'm now disappointed. I'll accept you ruining our day with the salary cap, but I'm not going to have you bring up salad when I'm talking about spaghetti by the bucket, Frankie.
And then the bread on top. I mean, get a little veg in there. Get a little, a little vegetable in there. Mix it in. And by the way, you're going to have your spaghetti in a popcorn bucket. There's appropriate containers for every type of food. Popcorn goes in a bucket. Spaghetti goes on a plate. That's what I think.
I want to see what the chat thinks about the spaghetti by the bucket. But thank you, Ben. I appreciate that, man. Wait, who said that looks Fugazi? Nix.
Right.
I know. Y2K is laughing at you. He said, "Come on, Frankie, salad in a bucket."
Well, you could have a little salad on the side. That's all.
Well, John Nolte, I'm in Arizona, as you know. So I just never saw a thing like that. I didn't even know that. I mean, I got to try it on novelty. I thought a bucket of spaghetti would be like $50, right?
That's true. I mean, yeah, for novelty's sake. I mean, it's like you go buy a Whataburger, you got to have that. You go to an In-N-Out burger, you see that, you got to try it.
Well, I got to talk to Mikey Mouse right now. He says if someone calls it gravy, their food sucks. I have to disagree. Yeah, they have to know what the difference is between gravy and sauce, though. Frankie, do you know the difference between gravy and sauce? I'm sure you do.
Well, my mother always called it sauce. So this whole thing with the gravy, and my family, by the way, anybody who cares to know, if you go up to Albany, New York, my family owns the Cafe Italia. Okay, if you're familiar with Albany. All right. So I know from Italian food, but we never called it gravy. We always called it sauce. And my family on my mother's side is from Italy. Like they came here on a freaking boat. And so we called it sauce. I don't know. This gravy thing, I never understood it, to be honest.
Well, and here's the thing. So I'm going to tell you. Now, look, clearly your family is qualified to have their names. But let me ask you this. Do you call it pasta or macaroni?
Pasta.
Pasta. Okay. All right. Here's the difference, guys. And this is for Mikey Mouse and Frankie. The differentiator between gravy and sauce is meat. Okay. Oh. So unless you call something meat sauce, right? But like when you have neck bones in it or sausage or meatballs or whatever, then it becomes Sunday gravy. Like, so then it's gravy, just like when you go to the store and you buy turkey gravy from French's. What makes it gravy is the fact that there's meat, or at least, some flavor of meat in there. So that's the difference. Marinara sauce, all that stuff. And obviously we call it bolognese sauce, but that's because it's specifically stated what kind of sauce it is. But that's the difference. When there's meat in a sauce, it's gravy. So there you go. And let me tell you, my family called it gravy. You want to know why they called it gravy? because it was always 100% of the time meat in there. We had
that's nice.
That's
nice. Thinking about it now, that's nice.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I miss it. My grandmother passed away 2 years ago, and that was my wife. My grandmother actually took my Jewish wife and taught her how to make Sunday gravy. So my mother's still very good at it, but I don't live with her. So every now and then my wife will just hunker down and go, I'm making this for you. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, like I could eat the whole damn thing in one sitting. It's my favorite. I love it. So you guys, it doesn't seem like the chat is too impressed with the spaghetti in a bucket. Steve says, I think everything called it in a bucket. Jeremy checks in. He says the Godfather called it gravy. So there you go. That's pretty legit, right, Jeremy? That's pretty legit. I don't know. So, all right. So Kyle Ormsby checks in with a super chat. He says, buy your kids some goddamn ring dings. Go Jets. Yeah, I think I might.
It be ring dings. So what do you want? That's not healthy. How about something healthy?
What the hell's we're talking about having fun, Frankie. You know, well, ring dings, as you know, are hostess, right? Or we have ring dings or hostess, right? And then the Drakes, I think, is called ding dongs. Right?
Are we really going here? Is this really where the conversation's going?
Yeah, it's seemingly. I guess it did. Yeah.
Devil dogs. Oh man, remember those devil dogs? Those are good. Whew.
Devil dogs are Drakes. Correct.
Chocodiles, man. What about a whatchamacallit? You guys remember a whatchamacallit bar? Oh,
hell yeah.
Ooh.
You know, I went to Hershey Park last year, right, on my coaster tour, and they have a huge, massive candy store. You get 5-pound bars of chocolate and 2-pound peanut butter cups and all this kind of stuff. But they had the, like, whatchamacallit's cousin, and it was called, like, the Who's a What's It.
Oh. Yeah, I think that's I don't think that's good. You got to go with the original, the whatchamacallit bar. You got the Baby Grand. You got all kinds of moon pies. Yeah, moon pies were so good. Whew,
they still are, Frankie. You got to get yourself one. When you're done eating your salad, you can. Well, you know what? You could take a couple moon pies and sprinkle it all over your salad. Why not?
Now I'm going to get some moon pies now.
Hell yeah,
that is a good idea.
Hey, moon pies they've picked it up. I want you to know there's like 5 flavors of moon pie now. Did you know that?
Flavors? What?
Yeah. The only one that's good,
outrageous.
Sacrilegious. The only one that's good for me, though, is the vanilla. I don't like banana flavored anything except that banana pudding. What's that banana pudding place in the village? There's a banana pudding place. They said they open at like 3 a.m. and they sell banana pudding with like ladyfingers in it. It's the best banana pudding I've ever had in my life.
This is ridiculous. Moon pies should be moon pie flavored. It's just like coffee. You know,
chocolate,
coffee should be coffee flavored. No, all this nonsense. Just give me some coffee flavored coffee. Give me some moon pie flavored moon pies. What the hell's going on with this in this world?
Yeah, it's weird. I know. It's like Oreos. They went nuts with Oreos. There's like 40 flavors of Oreos now. It's crazy.
The world has gone crazy.
That's so a lot of guys, I think, look, you know, this is one of those things. It's like when we talk about Taylor ham versus pork roll. There are, legit arguments on both sides, and whoever thinks it's one, they're never going to listen to the people who say it's the other. Same thing goes with gravy and sauce, but there is a difference between sauce and gravy. And I've worked at my fair share of Italian restaurants. I grew up in an Italian family, the whole thing, but that's the difference. So, Frankie, we got some other stuff football related to discuss. And we're going to get into your segment right now. And then in a little bit, I want to bring Watu-K on. We have much to discuss. Don't forget, we have the trivia coming up as well. But Frankie's going to drop some knowledge on us. Wait, let me get this chat off real quick. Whoops. Magnolia, that's it. Watu-K, that's the banana pudding place, right? Yeah, he's like, yeah, I guess I was talking about something else. I think that might be it. Magnolia pudding. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Watu-K. So Frank is going to drop some knowledge. We got some reception deception or perception coming in on Frankie's Facts. Yeah.
All right, so this is wide receiver. So reception perception. Those who may know Matt Harmon, he is the wide receiver guru. He knows more about wide receivers than anybody will know probably ever. And he has come out with his dynasty wide receiver ranking. So this is for fantasy. So those people who participate in fantasy, you may wonder which wide receivers are the best bets for a dynasty fantasy team, and who would those people be? And I look at this as kind of like a proxy for who are good long-term, prospects to be excellent wide receivers. And do the Jets have any of these people? So number one on the list, you might know him. He was just in the Super Bowl. Jamar Chase. You heard of him? Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
He's
not
one.
very good.
So if you got a dynasty fantasy team and you're looking for a wide receiver, he's the one to get. Jamar Chase. Number two, Justin Jefferson. He's not on the Jets. Number three,
No.
Number three, those are the top two. Number three, A.J. Brown. So that's number three. Number four, Devontae Adams. And number five, Tyreek Hill. All right, that's the top five. Now, who could possibly be on the Jets here? Well, all the way down at number 17, we find Elijah Moore. So number one, we got a guy on the list. We got a guy, 17th, Elijah Moore. Now, the interesting thing to me is what he says about Elijah Moore. Would you like to know the write-up?
Yes,
Here's
please.
the write-up about Elijah Moore. Ungodly good at the game. Ungodly good at the game, but questionable quarterback pairing right now. So the only reason he's that low down is because Zach Wilson is not a sure thing right now. But he says that Elijah Moore is ungodly good at the game. This is amazing. And, this is a guy. Now, this is, like I said, he's a wide receiver guru. He does the least amount of routes he has to look at before he makes a decision about you is 150. The minimum, he watches you run 150 routes in game action before he has an opinion. So this guy knows what he's talking about, and he says Elijah Moore is ungodly good at the game. That's who we have on our team.
But his quarterback is questionable, so he can't be. That's the thing with wide receivers. They can't be ungodly good if the quarterback sucks, right? So that's a major linchpin.
And especially this is fantasy oriented. So, they have to produce points in fantasy. And if Zach can't get him the ball, he's not going to produce. Doesn't matter how good a route you run. If Zach can't get him the ball, he can't get any points, right? So that's the only reason. But even with that, he's 17th on the list. I mean, he's ahead of people like DJ Moore. He's ahead of people like Keenan Allen. He's ahead of Mike Evans, but he's only ahead of Mike Evans because Evans is old, but he's ahead of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyler Lockett and Mari Cooper and people like this, even with Zach Wilson being a question mark at this point in time. So I thought that was, interesting.
Well, it is. And so look, Elijah Moore, this is one of those guys where in the event we give Zach Wilson time, and like we said, they all had to learn the offense. The offensive line was in shambles for the first half of the year. They started to settle down. If we can give Zach Wilson time, Elijah Moore he's a legit weapon, man. Like, that guy is no joke as far as what he can do on the football field. So I'm really excited about him. Now, you say he's 17th on this list. Are there any other Jets?
No, there's no other Jets. Somebody else in the chat said Mike Evans is way better. That's true, but like I said, it's long-term. So you have to think about two things. One, this is about owning a dynasty team, a fantasy team for multiple years. Who do you want in your dynasty team? So it's looking long-term. And don't forget, Mike Evans now also has a question mark at quarterback. No Tom Brady anymore. They had Tom Brady. They have to think about that in this. So obviously Mike Evans is better than Elijah Moore right now. That's obvious. But this is about sort of a long-term. Somebody asked about DK. DK's 11th on this list. Even after Wilson's departure. So DK is very
11th. So think about if that trade, and we'll talk about that a little bit before I want to bring Y2K on in a few minutes, and we're going to talk about free agents and all that kind of stuff. But the trade market is interesting. I put out a video early this morning about two of the trade rumors that have been, kind of gaining some traction, at least steam, maybe not traction, but steam. And one of them is DK Metcalf. If the Seattle Seahawks are going into blow it up mode, which I'm not convinced they are. I mean, it looks like they might be, but I don't know. DK Metcalf still seems like a guy they'd probably want to have around. But in the event we can trade for him, let's say pick 10 for DK and a third or something like that. Maybe you do it. Gives them 9th and 10 picks. They can get a jump on things. DK Metcalf with Elijah Moore would be amazing. That would be an amazing pairing. Do you agree, Frankie?
Yeah, you love the talent. I mean, DK is incredible talent. I'm just looking at his salary. He's, DK is this is a guy, but I don't think they're going to let him go. The guy's only making, he's cheap. Well, he's got one more year, but, so DK, that'd be interesting, but it would be a 1-year rental. So it depends on the cost, but I mean.
Yeah, well, they're saying that DK's estimated salary from it's either PFF or Spot Track. One of them is predicting 4 years, $84 million. So that's $21 million a year. So here we are talking about Amari Cooper being expensive, and he is, but in 1 year, I mean, you get a cheap year of DK Metcalf. He's just about $4 million. And then you're going to have to pay him somewhere in the range of $21 million if they're accurate. And that would be something, because like you said, if you don't pay him, it's a 1-year rental, and then you gave up the 10th overall pick or whatever it might be, and then you get him for 1 year, and then Zach Wilson's going through a revolving door with his weapons. You want him to have some time with somebody, develop some chemistry. Now, if they traded for DK Metcalf and gave him an extension and all that sort of stuff, maybe 5 years, $18 million or something like that. You save a little bit, give him a little bit more guarantees, those types of things. I mean, that would be really good to have Elijah Moore and DK Metcalf here for the next 4 years.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. I mean, I wonder if their decision making, how much of their decision making is hampered by not knowing what Zach is yet. I mean, we're all optimistic. We all think he can do it, and we're all looking forward to next year, but it's possible he doesn't. And so it's like, okay, we're going to commit to DK or anybody like that, one of these guys long term, if we don't yet know. It's so much easier to make a decision about the entire rest of the team. If you know you have the quarterback situation solved and you're good there.
Yeah, but I think they have to act as if you can't be tentative. You know what I mean? You have to act as if he's the guy. I mean, you got to give him every opportunity to be the guy. You don't kind of sit back and go, I don't want to commit to this guy or that guy. Nah, man, you get him the stuff, get him the line, get him the receivers, get him the tight ends, and put him in position to win. And if he can't with all that, then it's Mike effing White time, baby. Yeah, Mike White. The savior. So I want to just comment on this real quick. Good-looking honky checks in. He says, this is Peter North, the old film star. I remember Peter North very well. Did you know I was in the adult film industry as well, Peter North? So is that really you? Be honest for a second. Is it? I doubt it. Right, Frankie? I don't think it's really him. Think it's him?
I don't know. He said
Jeremy's working on it.
He did say his name twice, so maybe that counts for something.
Yeah, and he put a shoe on there. So that's, not everybody does that. So, well, if it is you, Peter North, I was a young man when I would sneak around, but it was a different era. I had to find magazines and everything. And I saw you often. You were always in there. Very, very impressive. V-Man checks in. He says, if you want something delicious, I recommend pernil, Puerto Rican pork shoulder, tostones, 2 times fried plantains, and arroz con gandules, rice and pigeon peas. Yeah, man. Now, I've never heard it called a pernil or pernil, but Puerto Rican pork shoulder, I've had, my ex-girlfriend was Puerto Rican. I used to go down. I was with her for 7 years. I used to go down. Her family lived in Puerto Rico, in Bayamon, and we used to go down there every year and spend 2 weeks down there. And you want to talk about getting to know their food, man. And that arroz con gandules, rice and pigeon peas, one of my favorite things. They're almost like little green peas. I love it. And I'm with you, V-Man. You got any experience with the Puerto Rican fare, Frankie?
Not much, but that sounds delicious. I don't think I've ever had it. Arroz con pollo, rice and pollo is good, but I don't know.
Yeah,
pernil. I've never had pernil. I don't think.
Yeah, I've had pork shoulder. Yeah, I've had pork shoulder for sure, and made in Puerto Rico. But I just didn't know. Maybe I had that already, V-Man. But you're speaking our language, buddy. I want you to know I'm starving now. I want buckets of spaghetti and pork shoulders and moon pies. That's what I want. Devil dogs. So yes, okay. So Elijah Moore, Frankie, he was also injured 3 times last year and ended the season on IR. What do you think? Is he? I mean, he's slight of frame. He's strong and he's well built and all, but he is a smaller guy. Do you see a continuation of the injury thing? You think he's a 13 games a year kind of guy, or do you think he's gonna?
I mean, we got to see. I mean, Deebo Samuel played 7 games in 2020. Is he injury prone? He's a thick dude. So some guys have a bad year in terms of injuries. He had some minor ones that kept him out of a bunch of games. So we got to see. Hopefully, if you think about it, a lot of our rookies were out for a period of time. Even AVT had the pec in the preseason, and then he had the toe during the year. Then we had Zach Wilson with the knee. Then we had Elijah with his quads, and then we had Michael Carter with his I think it was a knee when he did that split. That was weird. So all of our rookies, they got hit with the injury bug. So I'm hoping that was sort of their welcome to the NFL moment, and then now they'll get their body, they get their bodies right over the off season, and maybe hopefully next year we get a little better luck with these injuries. But I don't know. We got to see. I don't think his body type has much to do with it. I mean, he's basically the same size as Antonio Brown. He's a half-inch shorter, but he's Antonio Brown. He's also faster, lifts more, and jumps higher. But so my comp for him is Antonio Brown, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to share with you. Stephen Engel checks in and says Peter North is dead, so it's probably not him, Frankie.
Someone should probably tell Peter. Did anybody tell him yet? I mean, he might be dead, but no one told him yet.
Right, he's just still hanging out on YouTube. He didn't know. Yeah, so I look, it is concerning, guys, because we have Elijah Moore and Michael Carter. We're 2 guys that we classify as hits for the Joe Douglas drafting team in 2021, and both of them were injured 3 separate times, and both of them ended the year on IR. So that's a little freaky, man. And it's like we got what?
You know what though, Green Bean? I wonder your thoughts on this. So last year they banned something called Toradol, if you remember that, and that was a painkiller that a lot of players used to get through the season without missing any games. The NFL banned it. I guess research came in that said long term this causes a lot of problems. Very bad. So they banned it now. So that means the players didn't have something they used as a crutch to get, so to speak, to get on the field. Do you think that there was more of these nagging sort of injuries for players, maybe having to do something with that?
Yeah, I don't know. Toradol is an interesting one because coming from the addiction field as I do, Toradol is one of the only real painkiller medications that are non-narcotic that actually works. Tramadol is addictive, and even though they say it's not, but it is. Toradol is an interesting one because it actually works. It's the only non-narcotic that, I mean, there's ibuprofen and all sorts of other things, but Toradol is a potent painkiller that is not a narcotic. But if you take it for more than a week, you're really risking like severe liver and kidney damage and those types of things. So it's unfortunate. But yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting point. I don't know if that's the case. I think that whatever the hell's going on with the Jets and injuries, we have to figure it out. My hope is that Joe Douglas's revamped medical team and the whole medical side of things, it's just like the offensive line, it takes some time to get things going. I mean, you can't just walk in and heal everybody overnight. So my hope is that once this gets ramped up, we will actually see one of the healthier programs out there. But then we got to change that field, Frankie. We got to change that field.
Yeah. That's true. We do have a rubber field, and that doesn't help. But at the same time, we didn't have any more injuries. We had about an average number of injuries last year, but we'd like to have below average. Yeah, one thing that if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, and one thing that you might be a little worried about, last year you had a Super Bowl roster, contending team, you had a Super Bowl level roster. And on top of that, you had by far the fewest number of injuries of any team in the whole league. And you still didn't make the Super Bowl. So if they revert to the mean next year in terms of injuries, what is that going to do? What is that going to say?
Yeah. Well, this is another update. I want to give you guys some breaking news. Jeremy's telling me that Peter North is not dead. So we have a dilemma here today on the Thursday thick of it. But look, we want to get into some free agency. As we know, free agency is right around the corner, man. The legal negotiation window, what we call the tampering window, is Monday, if I remember correctly, Frankie, right? 4 o'clock on Monday, I think it is. And we are already toward the end of Thursday. So we only have a few days, guys. 21? What's that, Y2K? What'd you do? I can't hear you. 12. 21. 21. Yes. I don't know what Y2K is doing, Frankie. I got to be honest. But we're going to bring Y2K on anyway. So let's get into some free agency. And then I really want to hear what the chat is thinking with, who their free agents are. We already discussed our own free agents. But to get into free agency, let's bring Y2K on, the president of the Virginia Jets fan club himself. There he is, the co-host of Wacky Wednesday on NFL Chaos with Jeremy and Y2K. So let's go. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing great. And what I was signaling you is the league year starts, the negotiation period starts 12 p.m. on Monday. I was trying to give you a 12 o'clock. Yeah, 4 o'clock on March 16th is when it can become official. Yeah, I had to reverse the.
I know, it's so weird.
The switch around
it's so
with the
weird.
camera,
Yeah. Well, hey, we did it. So thank you. So it's actually 12 noon on Monday, Eastern Standard Time. So that'll be good. That'll be 10 o'clock my time where I am. So I don't have to wait as long as you guys. That'll be neat. You guys will have to wait 2 hours more than me because I won't be awake. So Y2K, free agency like we're talking about, is coming. Now, as far as like Frankie was just talking about Elijah Moore and, we don't really have many other wide receivers to talk about. We brought up Berrios as one of our own free agents that people are, that want to, people want to resign. We still have Corey Davis, and that's about it. We have Denzel Mims, of course. What do you think? Are there realistic options that could come in here, not trade, that in the free agent market as far as wide receivers? Are there guys that you think we could bring in and they would be either a number one or a legitimate asset?
I went through a list of some different wide receivers, and I got to tell you, my biggest disappointment probably was not when Dalton Schultz got signed, but when Mike Williams got signed. That was somebody I really, really wanted to see the Jets take a run at. But I did look at a couple of wide receivers about who I felt might be the best fit, considering who we already have. And I got to tell you, one thing that I would consider doing is maybe using Corey Davis in the slot a little bit more, because he can work the middle of the field well, like an Eric Decker. He can run block well, and he tends to do pretty well in space, not when he's facing an outside cornerback. So you might want to switch Davis inside in little spots here and there. But to do that, you need that big outside receiver, in my opinion. So when I look at a guy like a DJ Chark or somebody like that, or even a Christian Kirk, I mean, I like Christian Kirk. He's very talented, but last year he had 79% of his snaps in the slot. He's really a slot receiver. So I don't know if he really fits the kind of receiver we're looking for at this point. The two guys that I really am interested in are Allen Robinson and Michael Gallup. Those are the two guys I would go after. I'm actually surprised that Gallup hasn't been signed yet at this point, but maybe the Cowboys are prioritizing Dalton Schultz, keeping him over Gallup. But ever since CeeDee Lamb came along, Gallup has taken a back seat. So I'll give you some numbers on Gallup. So in 2019, he caught 66 passes for 1,107 yards and 6 touchdowns, and that was in just 14 games. So 1,100 yards in 14 games. Then they drafted Lamb, 2020. So since then, he has 94 catches for 1,288 yards and 7 touchdowns. That's in 25 games. So that's 51 yards or so per game over that span. So I think at this point, I think it's a change in his role that's really helped to diminish his numbers a little bit. I think this is a situation where he might be looking for a new start, especially coming off the injury. I think he's looking for a proven opportunity. So Gallup is a guy that I am pretty high on, first of all.
I like Gallup too, man. Frankie, what do you think about Gallup as an option?
Well, I like him, but my understanding is that the Cowboys are going to try to retain him. They might even try to retain Amari Cooper, but they probably won't be able to. But my understanding is that the Cowboys are going to hold on to him, Gallup.
Well, I mean, say in the same way that we're talking about the Jets are going to try to hold on to Berrios. You know what I mean? I mean, if you can't get it done, you can't get it done. You swoop in. Let's say they're not able to get it done, Frankie. Is that a guy that you think we should take a good, legit swing at?
Yeah, I mean, he's 36th on this list. But nonetheless, he's and the write-up for him is think he could be a 1B type of wide receiver, late season injury complement. So he'd be great. He'd be a great addition, especially because he's not going to cost you as much as some other people. So yeah, I'd be all for it because the way I see it, Elijah Moore is our number 1. Corey Davis number 2, and this guy would be like a 1B. So yeah, that's a good room.
I would have no problem with committing to that. Like, we have a number 1 wide receiver. His name is Elijah Moore. And then, Corey Davis, Michael Gallup, Vincent Smith, whoever it is, are, 2, 3, 4, and on. I Y2K, do you see Elijah Moore as a number 1?
I think I see the potential. It could definitely happen. You just wish he was maybe 2-3 inches taller, but his speed, his explosiveness, his route running, and more than that, his work ethic. I think you see some tools for him to be a pretty explosive receiver, kind of maybe like an Adam Thielen kind of guy, that kind of role where you don't maybe think of him as a number 1, may not have that size, but it's just one of those things, you just look up and boom, he's ripped off a 40-yard reception or a 50-yard reception. I think this is a guy. We have not seen his ceiling yet. We have not seen the ceiling.
No,
absolutely not.
That's exciting too. It's definitely exciting. Like, again, it all comes back to protecting Zach and Zach knowing the offense and being able to find guys like Elijah Moore, because the guy knows how to get open, man. He is surgical with how he runs his routes and everything. Now, as far as you brought up Thielen, there was some talk today about maybe trading for Thielen. The Vikings are kind of doing a whole turnaround thing too. Maybe not quite as extreme as the Seahawks or anything, but they could be looking to move on from guys. Thielen's a little bit older, but I mean, he had 24 touchdowns the last 2 years, if I remember correctly. He had like 1,600 yards collected over the last 2 years. What do you think about going to get him, and what do you think it would cost, Y2K?
With Thielen, I haven't really thought about what that would take, but I don't know if that's the type of decision we need to make at this point. I think one thing we've seen with Joe Douglas, he wants younger assets. I think once you're on the wrong side of 30, he's a little bit more hesitant to get a player like that. I think this is a situation where I want to see him get weapons that can grow with our young quarterback.
Wow. Now I got to interrupt. We have some breaking news. It seems that Aaron Rodgers got the top contract in the league for what amounts to 36 hours. And now Lamar Jackson just got 5 years, $220 million, $130 million guaranteed. So that's a big one, man. Lamar Jackson just got paid.
But Mikey, where's this being reported?
I'm not seeing this.
I'm not seeing it on Twitter or NFL.com. Mikey, where's it being reported?
Let us know.
Yeah. Because you'd think the guys on Twitter would put this out. Schefter and those guys.
Schefter, Rappaport, Pelissero, got to put him in there now.
Yeah, Rusty Spooner is reporting it too. Adam Horvath is reporting it.
Rumor on Twitter, Mikey says. Well,
rumor. Well, there's.
I mean, if Schefter or Rappaport doesn't report it, I don't pay. Or Pelissero, one of those top guys, I don't.
So I want to let you guys know I put a poll I figured out polls, so that really helps the Monday Night Mocks. Ryan walked me through it in the middle of the Monday Night Mock, how to do that, because I'm running things through StreamYard, and I always get concerned running 2 programs. I'm going to lose my internet service, so I'm kind of damaged goods. But it looks like I have the potential to at least make that work. So there's a poll in the chat right now whether or not you think Denzel Mims can have a turnaround. Right now, the yeses are winning, but make sure you get that vote of yours in there. I want to see what you guys think as we sit here and talk about wide receivers. But speaking of free agents now, Y2K. All right, so Thielen, I think, he's a little old for Douglas. He doesn't seem to want to go that route. I agree. What other positions do you see as directions that the Jets can go in free agency, and who do you see as viable options?
Yeah, by the way, I still don't see this Lamar Jackson news. So until I see it actually somewhere, I'm just going to take that with a grain of salt.
I think that's wise.
Yeah. So let's hold off. Yeah. Maybe he means the cornerback Lamar Jackson. I think that's what happened.
Wait, what's that? What'd you say?
Maybe our old cornerback Lamar Jackson. That's the one.
That Lamar Jackson, he's a practice squad player for the Bears, but
yeah, he left. He's gone.
He got $200,000.
There you go. Good for him. He's a player.
Yeah, how much of that is guaranteed, Frankie?
$600.
All $200K. You got it, buddy.
1 tank of gas. There it is. Okay.
Right.
One thing that I did see, and it was from Chad Forbes, who's pretty good with the draft and stuff like that. And Jeremy and I talked about this last night on the show. Was that it is pretty well thought around the league that the Jets are pretty much going to let Foley go and sign DJ Jones, defensive.
DJ Jones,
that'd be great.
And I am all for it. I would make that move today.
That's beautiful.
Yep,
a guy who can actually stuff some runs around here.
He really he led the league in the run stuff win rate, one of those big saber metrics. But whatever it is, it sounds good.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, he is he's 27. I thought he was I thought he was right there, 27, 28. So he's 27 years old. That would be a good move. Now, do you think as far as contractually, do you see it in the same pocket as Fatukasi? Is he going to get less, more? What do you think, Y2K? And then I want to hear Frankie too.
It's weird. It seems like at the beginning of free agency, people were saying Foley might get $5-6 million or so, but now you're starting to hear that he's pretty well thought of around the league, and that price tag is going up, maybe $9 million, $10 million. I'm not sure. After the way the Jets' run defense performed this season, now I'm certainly not blaming it all on Foley. I don't feel ready to pay him that money. The Niners' run defense has been quite good. I would give Jones. I would definitely give him 3 years. At 27, I would even go possibly 4, but maybe an out after 3-ish, because we know Joe Douglas loves those types of contracts where you can get out before the full length of the contract ends. But in terms of annual value, I would go about 6 million. I would try to do it at maybe 6 million. Maybe I would definitely do that. I don't know if that's enough for. I think Jones was making about 2.75 or 3 this year. So if you double his salary, I think that's pretty good. I would do it.
Yeah. What do you think, Frankie? Are you in the same mindset as Y2K? You think he's going to be more?
Yeah, I think I saw a projection that he's going to make around 7. So, that's right in the pocket. I would go after it. Familiarity with Saleh and that crew. So it comes right in. This is the same theory as Laken Tomlinson, that I'd love to get Laken as well on the offensive line. Same theory, just plug and play. Take those San Francisco guys. So, yeah, I like it. I think he's an upgrade, at least for our system, which is basically the San Francisco system. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm still disappointed that, whatever a head coach, gets hired for a team, usually they bring a few players from their former team. And Saleh had this reputation as being beloved, and he brought over no one. Later in the offseason, we ended up getting Ronald Blair. But we didn't
don't forget Tevin Coleman. Come on now.
Yeah, technically speaking,
not but okay.
I think that's more a LaFleur to me. But yeah, still, they brought in over. Almost no one came with them. Now maybe they just, hey, we don't want to bring these guys, but I don't think that's the case. I think that they had a hard time luring people over here to the Jets. So especially after a 4-win season with a lot of tumult, I don't know how well they're going to be able to do that again this year. I think he would be fantastic, though, especially if you're going to lose Fatukasi. It could even be seen as an upgrade for cheaper. So that would be interesting. I wonder what Fatukasi is going to get out there.
And
that's interesting.
What team? I wonder what team would really want Foley.
I mean, it depends on whether you think you're getting the Foley of 2019 and 2020 or the Foley of 2021, where his play fell off. I mean, in 19 and 20, he was really good. And
really good.
Some team may go, listen, they had a new system. We bring him in here. We give them the system he used to have, and we get the old Foley. That's worth a lot of money. Boom, let's go.
And how many times were the Jets putting in the Nathan Shepherds of the world, the way that they were rotating those players? I mean,
I know.
They played 50 to 60% of the snaps anyway. So.
Yeah, I got to say, I don't love that. I mean, you got potentially great players, play them. I mean, there's got to be some sort of pitch count, but, dude, keep your guys on the field. Aaron Donald plays.
That's something to watch this year, I think. It's one thing if Saleh likes to say we roll 8 deep. Well, you didn't really roll 8 deep last year, Coach Saleh. You rolled maybe 6-ish deep. You could say you roll 8 deep, but if you're rolling Nathan Shepard out there and Timmy Ward and Jonathan Marshall, that's not really rolling 8 deep. I'm sorry. So, you can say that all you want. And you could want to have 8 guys and have that theory, but if you're going to play Quinnen more, why isn't Quinnen getting more snaps?
I agree. I agree.
JFM's got to play more. That's
the thing.
Yeah, we're all talking. Are you telling me that if Carl Lawson had played last season, that he would have been rotated out constantly? I'm not.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Right. I know, but look, we're all talking about Quinnen's numbers and how he's slightly disappointing, or even a lot disappointing, if it's depending on your point of view. But he's on he's played like 35% of the snaps or something weird like that. So I mean, what do we expect? So I don't know. I disagree with that as well. We'll see. Like you said, Frankie, that's something to keep an eye on this year. I want to comment on Eddie's comment. He says, Saleh brought over an offensive line coach and the offensive coordinator. That is a lot. Not really. I mean, he has to bring coaches. I mean, you have to have coaches, and you're giving guys promotions. Not the offensive line coach, but the rumor is in San Francisco is that they were ready to bump up their assistant offensive line coach. Anyway, John Benton has had, he's known as one of the better offensive line coaches, but he's had some rough goes over there in San Francisco. A lot of fans and such didn't really love him, and they were kind of ready to promote their guy anyway. So bringing coaches is one thing because you get to promote them, pay them more, the whole thing. Players coming over is a specific indicator of how well you are appreciated. And maybe not. Maybe there's lots of variables. I'm just saying it's something that raised my eyebrow. I expected, with all of his rah-rah stuff and how beloved he was supposed to be, that at least a couple guys would want to come over here with him. And he brought over nobody. Ronald Blair was a scrap heap guy. So, all right, Kyle Ornsby checks in with a super chat. And he says, keep an ear out for Sebastian Joseph Day. I work with his dad, and he said Saleh has contacted him and his agent. Sebastian Joseph Day. I'm really not even familiar with who that is. Who is that?
I think it's a safety.
What? Yeah, let's see. Check it out if you don't mind. I'm real curious. But that that's inside track, Kyle. That's what you got there.
Defensive tackle from the Rams. Played college football at Rutgers.
Oh, right.
All right.
He's
it sounds like
I think Sebastian Joseph Day is a run stuffer. This is coming back to me now. So if we couldn't get DJ Jones, I think this would be a good option as well.
Yeah, he's only played 3 seasons, and this year he only played 7 games. So he played the entire 2019 and 2020 season with the Rams. He's 26 years. He was 26 years old this season, so he's turning 27. 6 sacks in 3 years. 14 quarterback hits and 9 tackles for a loss in 3 years. That's not too bad.
No, it's not. So maybe that's interesting, Kyle. Thanks for the inside lane there, man. We got some inside scoopage from Kyle Ornsby, Sebastian Day's father, talking about Saleh's been on the horn with him. That's nice. So let's bring Jeremy on, and we'll talk about a little bit more free agency, and then we're going to do some trivia for you guys too. Wat2K has been stumping the hell out of us, and I don't like it, quite frankly. I want to do better. So let's say hello to Jeremy from NFL Chaos. with Jeremy. There he comes. Hello, sir. How are you, Jeremy?
What's up? What's up? Beautiful, beautiful weather here out in Sacramento. I'll say that.
What do you got?
It's just, we started like, this is typical like Valley. You know, we start at like 45 in the morning and then we slowly climb to like 72 degrees every day. So
Not bad.
Sunny and nice
Here,
every day.
I'm going to tell you, Arizona weather has been all over the place. I mean, it goes from 75, 80 degrees to 30 degrees, like in rainy, cold, snowing, and then the next day it's 80. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. I really don't even know. It's like it's knocking the hell out of me. So yeah, you have that nice, you kind of know what you're getting weather, huh?
Yeah, it's very predictable. I mean, and this is back to the years without rain, because they, you know, sometimes this area will go years without like a lot of rain, very little, and sometimes we have rainy seasons. This year was very little rain, so it's been just very predictable. It's just sunny every day, and every week it gets a little bit warmer, the high, and the low gets a little bit higher. You know, so that's what.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So yeah, Jeremy's the envy of millions right now. So that's good. Jeremy, who's your free agent that you want? If you had to pick one, if we can only sign one, are you going in, you know, wide receiver like Gallup? Are you going maybe a different position? Where do you want to go?
I really like Laken Tomlinson. I like Daniels too, because he could play center, but I like them because, you know, I'm nervous about if we don't. I think Zion might not make it to 35, and I think it would take a lot of pressure off. Like if Aquanu's not there, or if we have the chance to take an edge and we wanted to take guard, like if we just got a guy like Laken Tomlinson, we could just close the book on that, you know, into the later rounds. If we want a developmental offensive lineman, I would just love to take that stress away. If it was a wide receiver, I don't know about going for making a huge splash for a wide receiver, but like maybe Kirk also I like. Just another balanced, you know, because I you know, you guys know I love Elijah Moore. So just the Elijah Moore developing number one, Corey Davis, you get a guy like Kirk in there, re-sign Berrios if we can, you know, and then draft like a Dotson or a Christian Watson or whatever in the second or third. I'd be thrilled with that.
Yeah. Watu-K, what do you think of that? I mean, is there any other guys that you want to let us know that you think would be good fits? Did it come from Jeremy's list? What are you thinking?
Yeah, James Daniels, Laken Tomlinson, those are definitely the two guards that I would target. And what you don't want to do is be desperate for a position when the draft comes. You know, you want to have options. Now, you have your positions you need to address, but you don't want to go in thinking, okay, if we don't get this player by this position, we're pretty much screwed because there's not a lot of depth there. I would say a tight end. So I'm thinking about tight ends and thinking if there's anybody there who would get me excited. I mean, if Azoma makes it to free agency, I mean, since he hasn't signed him yet, that's a guy I might look at.
Yeah, totally. And what about Zach? What about Zach Ertz? You guys off the Ertz train?
Now than I was. I did not want to trade anything for him during the season, but now if he just costs money, you bring him in and you mentor our future superstar tight end Kenny Yeboah and Connor McDermott.
That's right. Yeah,
and Trey McBride.
That's right.
We might draft one too. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah,
that's
now
right.
It makes sense to bring in a Zach Ertz. Now I'm all for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
I like it.
I like Mo Alley Cox too because he's a great blocker and I think he's better receiver than he's shown. So I think he has more potential there. I don't
Max
know.
Williams from Arizona. That's another
Max
one. Who
Williams is another guy. So there's a lot of options. I think we got to get one of these tight ends, whoever it may be, Ertz, Max Williams, Mo Alley Cox. I think we got to get one free agent out of that group and then draft two in the draft. That's my thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting because right now Jets fans are having nervous breakdowns because we didn't trade for Khalil Mack and we didn't trade for Russell Wilson and all this sort of stuff. But we did sign three of our own lower mid-tier at best, you know, LaMarcus Joyner. We re-signed for one more year. We also signed Connor McDermott, a reserve tackle and superior.
See, that's what happens when you eat spaghetti in a bucket.
How did this happen?
I think Connor McDermott might be in the van. I don't know.
You're on mute, Green Bean.
You're on mute now.
Mute Bean.
There you go.
Okay.
I did more than drop my coffee. I was laughing. I was with you, Frankie, because spaghetti in a bucket. I'm going to go get some right now. I'm starving. So, Frankie, before we get into the trivia, who's your guy? Who's your free agent one?
If I had to pick one, I think we need Laken Tomlinson the most to just fit into right guard. Because it worries me to go into the draft with a big hole at right guard, because you could fill it with Icky, but Icky wants to play left tackle. You could fill it with Evan Neal, but Evan Neal wants to play left tackle. And then I'm not going to, Zion Johnson's not going to make it to the second round. I got news for you. He's not. He's a first round grade. He's going in the first round. So you think you're getting him in the second round, you're not. And then I got to pray that a guard that I like is around in the second round. It's it's too much for me. I say we plug right guard with Laken Tomlinson, get the wall built, and then worry about everything else. So that's number one for me.
And maybe, just maybe, we start to see the San Francisco influx of Salah's guys this year. This is the year we get Laken Tomlinson and a few other guys. Maybe we even go out there and get Verrett as a cornerback. I mean, I know he's been hurt and stuff, but he's a pretty good cornerback, man. So who knows? Maybe we start to see an influx of San Francisco 49ers coming to play with their old coaches, Mike LaFleur, John Benton, Robert Saleh. We see it all happening. Dom C says we have to address kicker, and this will be the last one before we get into some trivia. What do you guys feel about our kicker situation? We do have Matt Amendola on a futures contract. We know we like his leg, but his accuracy was an issue. And then we have Pinheiro. Jeremy, what do you think? Would you re-sign Pinheiro and call it a day, or are you looking for the draft, letting Pinheiro go? Where do you stand on that one?
I would definitely re-sign him. I do in the off-season free agency simulator thing or whatever. I do it every time. I get him for like $1 million, 30% guaranteed. Get an undrafted free agent, or if we trade and end up with extra picks, bring in one of the top guys. Let's have some competition at camp. We love competition, right? It shouldn't just be restricted to like any position. It should be every position. But Pinheiro was a good kicker in Chicago. There's nothing wrong with him, and he did nothing wrong with us. It was an injury. That's the only reason he ended up out of Chicago in the first place.
Yeah. What do you think, Y2K? What do you the kicker? I mean, look, if there's one place that you can legitimately be concerned about Joe Douglas, it's his handling of the kicker. For whatever reason, he doesn't seem to have any urgency there. What do you think about Pinheiro and the rest?
I would definitely give Pinheiro, I'd give him like $1 million to come back. I would definitely do that. I mean, the only miss he had this season was a block. And I actually find it funny when people talk, I don't trust Pinheiro. The kicks come out too low. I just care that they come out accurate,
Yeah, right.
I mean, maybe this system that we have of getting these kickers with these big legs. I mean, Alex Kessman, anybody? I mean, Kari Vedvik, who could kick the ball 65 yards, but they kick it into, section 315 of the stands or whatever. It didn't work. So let's go for accuracy. Now, if we look at free agency, there aren't a whole lot of names that excite me. I mean, there's Koo from Atlanta. There's Hopkins from the Chargers. Nick Folk is a free agent. Maybe we bring back our folk hero?
Folk hero.
He'll probably stay in New England.
I think so too.
Pinheiro. Yeah. I mean, just sign Pinheiro. It's $1 million. You have Amendola on the practice squad. That's
get an undrafted free agent. Maybe last year McPherson was the only kicker who was even selected, and somebody might shake free anyway. I think you could always bring somebody in late.
Yeah, Legitmo Bob says, I hate to say it, but bring in an old pro to mentor the young guys. How do you know that a guy you like wants to mentor players who can take his job? In my opinion, that's the coach's job to try young players. Now, I don't know if he's talking about kicker, but I think keep Pinheiro around like the old vet and bring in a young guy, have a kicking competition. We still have Matt Amendola around for whatever reason. And let's get a guy for the next 10 years, please. Can we stop with this kicker shit already? It's aggravating. And it's scary. So that will wrap up the kicker conversation. Now, as far as trivia, guys, this is the rules. Y2K is going to give us a question, and we will discuss it, but I want you guys to answer it in the chat without looking in Google. Let's try to see what our Jet knowledge is. There's no awards for being right. Let's just try and see how we do, what we know. And Y2K, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, so it is the beginning of a new league year coming up. Well, 7 years ago today, on March 10th, 2015, the league year started. It was the first off season for Mike Maccagnan and for Todd Bowles, and the Jets had a very busy day. They signed Darrelle Revis. They re-signed Bilal Powell, and they traded a 5th-round pick to the Chicago Bears for Brandon Marshall, who had a fantastic first season. However, they made a corresponding move that day as well. They released a player. My question to you is, who was the player they released that day?
Ooh, who was the player that they released on that fateful day where we saw reuniting with Darrelle Revis, Bilal Powell, Brandon Marshall came to town? So we also released a notable player. Is that what you're saying? Somebody pretty notable?
We released a player that day on the first day of the 2015 league year. Yes.
Okay.
It's going to be a little hard to Google, but you know.
Yeah. Well, let's go, guys. Let's see who it is. Curly Norman checks in with an interesting one. Mark Sanchez. Is that accurate?
That is incorrect.
Okay, Jeremy, do you think you have the answer here, buddy?
No, I think Mets has it.
Who?
I think Jets Mets has it.
Lee Cravat. Yeah.
I think Stephen Engel has it. That's for sure.
Yeah, Peter North, of course. Yeah.
The answer to every trivia question now is Peter North.
Peter North. Yeah, there you go. Peter North. So it's not Mark Sanchez. It's not Lee Cravat. I know it's not going to be Jericho Cotchery because he left during the Rex Ryan era.
He left years prior, yeah.
Right.
But we do have a correct answer. So,
is it FOC?
No, it is. It's not from FOC. No, but do you guys want to throw in one more guess?
Yeah, Frankie, give us a guess.
Josh
Notice
Norman.
The way that I phrased the question, that with the moves they made a corresponding move, releasing a player.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I asked it a certain way, and I
Gary
think
Rhodes
on it.
My guess is up there.
This is it. John Post got it in my mind. This is it. Jeremy Curley.
It is not Jeremy Curley.
Oh,
incorrect.
Well, it's not going to be Crow because we signed Crow. Maybe not that day, but shortly thereafter.
First time we signed them, we had Revis, right?
Okay. So, yep, enough guys got it. So, Mikey Mel's got it. Kyle Hornsby got it. Raw Power got it. The correct answer is Percy Harvin.
Percy Harvin. Oh. Yeah, what the hell does Todd Bowles need with a Percy Harvin? You know what I mean? Why not? Get rid of him. This guy sucks.
Yeah, we can play Kembrell Tompkins in week 17.
Right. You know, I think David Clowney was still hanging around. That guy stayed in our team for far too long and did nothing. So interesting. Good one. So I'm going to say we got it this week, Y2K. What do you think? No, I think,
chat got it for sure. The panel did not get it, but great job by great job, chat. You did well today.
No, I think the panel got it. That's what I think. Jeremy got it.
No, I didn't.
Jeremy got it. Y2K.
Not even close.
I heard him.
I have an interesting fact I just found.
I heard him.
Twitter.
Go ahead.
What about this? The Pittsburgh Steelers have had three head coaches since 1969.
Yep.
Three. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Right.
Think about that.
That's right.
3. We've had 3 head coaches since 2009, right? I mean, really?
Exaggerated.
That's so crazy.
We've had 3 head coaches since 2009. So we're talking about
owners than they've had coaches.
Yeah. So Chuck Knoll, right? Chuck Knoll, Cowher, and
Mike Thomas.
Yeah, that's it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So good job, chat. That's really good. I am proud of you guys. Yeah, that was a good one. We got it. We're a team. The panel did not get it. We were close. Who? I don't think we even gave a guess. What, Jeremy? Wait, did you have a guess? Who'd you say?
I was actually, for some reason, I was thinking of Antonio Cromartie also, because I felt like that was the second round for Revis, and maybe I got confused and thought maybe he said corresponding move, like maybe we still had Cromartie on the team and got rid of him when we got Revis back, but I don't think that's how it happened. So I realized.
So you were wrong in 3 different layers. You had all kinds of confused.
I'm just wrong. You got a super chat.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. So thank you, Paris. 1189 Paris, thank you. He says he's trying to get me up to Yellowstone. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. You guys are the absolute best. Before we leave, I want to share that clip again with you guys. This is for Paris. Do I still have it up here? Let me see. I think I might. Nope, I took it off. I don't got it anymore. Let me try to find it.
Don't show us the bucket of spaghetti again, please.
You would love that bucket of spaghetti, man. That's some good shit.
I mean,
let's.
That spaghetti, great if you put in a bucket.
Hey, ravioli by the bucket was amazing.
There you go.
You know, I think it's just like a lot. You know, I mean, as long as it's good. You know what I mean? Like if it's even, you know, just okay, a big bucket, like that's up my alley. I like that. A big old-fashioned bucket of food. I'm a gross person, so I like that. You know? I'm gross.
How often do you have to deal with sauce/gravy getting in your beard? I would think that's an issue.
Never. No. I'm a pro. I'm a pro.
All right.
That's a feature, not a bug.
Right, exactly. All right, here we go. I'm going to share this with you guys. So if you guys missed it in the beginning, I'm going to share this with you now about the Russell Wilson trade. There's a funny little Jets twist here for you. And let me just back it up. Nope, I'll leave it right there. Okay, here we go. Can you guys hear it?
You might be wondering what are the exact details of.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Here we go, guys.
This trade. Bear in mind that Russell Wilson had to waive his no trade clause to make this bad boy happen. The official trade is the Seattle Seahawks are trading Russell Wilson and a 4th-round pick, and they're getting Drew Lock, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a 5th-round pick in return. This is an insane trade for both sides. First of all, the Seattle Seahawks are getting a Jamal Adams-like return for their trade.
Jamal Adams, I'm the best in the nation. 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 I'm the best in the nation.
The immediate thing that I'm thinking is...
There it is. The best in the nation with a little montage of Jamal Adams getting burnt, missing tackles. You got to love it. So let's look at the poll.
He never said which nation. Yeah.
So which nation is he the best? Zimbabwe, right? He probably is. You're right. So I want to close out the poll. I asked you guys whether Denzel Mims can have a turnaround this year, and 71% of Jets fans in the Thursday Thick of It said yes. So that warms my heart. I know, I'm surprised. I thought you guys were going to say no, but that's good, and I think he can too. Again, he's 23 years old, 6'3", 4.38 speed, had food poisoning and COVID and everything else. The bad season is the outlier as it stands right now. And how wonderful would it be? Like, we're freaking out over all these guys at the combine. Denzel Mims would have lit up this combine with his numbers, and we'd be freaking out about him just like we were a couple years ago. He's got the talent. Let's just see if he's got the motivation to earn that spot back. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice, Jeremy, if Denzel Mims came out of the woodwork and ended up being a contributor on this offense?
It'd be wonderful. It's like, I mean, what Jet fan would call themselves a Jet fan and root against that?
I know a few. I know a few. It's more about their pride, baby. So, yeah, I agree. I think it would be fantastic. But thank you for answering the poll. Guys, if you haven't liked the stream yet, please do. Now is the time. Just hit that thumbs up. It's one click. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, that is appreciated as well. You get all sorts of great content. I've released 5 or 4 videos this week, 2 live streams. So you get all kinds of great stuff. And you will be reminded if you hit that bell every time I release something. Daniel Faust, thank you for the super chat. He says 8 deep defense, super offensive line, best in the NFL. 8 deep defense. Yeah, man. What do you think, Frankie? 8 deep defense. Defensive line?
I think he's talking about the D line. So if we did, I mean, it'd be wonderful. If Bradley Anae is your DL8, you're in good shape. All right. If Bradley Anae is in there, good. And he's above Marshall and he's above Timmy Ward and people like that, fine. But if Bradley Anae is your DL4 or 5, you got problems. So we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to see how it goes. 8 deep defensive line. Hey, man, we just need some edge rush. If we get this, if we figure out the edge rush, I think our interior guys are good enough to make their impact there. Rob V checks in. He says, I think Mims can, but what evidence do we have to support that idea? He can turn it around. I think there's
college career.
Yeah, and his rookie year. I think there's significantly more data to support him being effective than not being effective. The truth is, even the first half of this year, when they used him, he was effective. It was the second half of the year that he kind of looked lost. They put him in for 2 plays. He gets a penalty. They yank him. So it was just kind of weird.
You know, the fact of the matter is he's going to show up to camp and he's going to start doing the drills and he's going to start doing the practice and they're going to see what he looks like. And, you know, they're not going to get rid of him. He's going to be on the team and they're going to see what he looks like in practice. And if he looks like a different guy than he did last year, okay, let's go. And if he doesn't, then he might, I mean, really, he might get cut. I mean, I think.
Yeah. I knew he wasn't going to get cut last year, but this year, if he comes in and they see the exact same player, I think he's in danger of a cut too, which is a shame. I'd love to see them get something for him, but terrible, man. But I'm a big Mims supporter. I think, again, 23 years old, all the measurables you want, and he has the entire college career and his rookie year, he looked good. So there's a lot to support him having a turnaround. He got food poisoning. He lost 20 pounds. So what do you want? Another great show, Sean McAllister. Well, I want to thank Frankie and Jeremy and Wat2K for their contributions. The show wouldn't be the same without you guys, and I do appreciate it. Why don't you let them know what you got going on? Jeremy, we'll start with you.
Just a normal NFL Chaos with Jeremy. We got our Wacky Wednesday show. Adam's there every week.
Hey, on this show, he's Wat2K. Don't fuck around with this Adam shit.
Wat2K.
I've been called worse in my life, so it's okay.
Every Wednesday night, I'm doing. Hey, Dom C, who's amazing. You know, he's doing all the breakdowns for you, Green Bean. I could, you know, and he approached me and asked if we could do something together on Sunday nights. So every Sunday night, we take our off-season moves, free agency cuts, and what have you, and then we do a draft in reaction to our moves. So, and then you just gotta hit the notification bell because I have a reputation for just popping on at any given time.
4 a.m. Jeremy time. Wat2K, right. What's going on down there in Virginia Jets fan club land?
Well, we're gonna have a big St. Patrick's Day. Join the big St. Patrick's Day parade in Norfolk, which is always a big deal. It's been wiped out the last 2 years for obvious reasons. And now we're supposed to get about an inch of rain, and the parade has been canceled. We found out.
Oh, bummer.
It's just crazy. So I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna make some alternative plans. Head down to into Virginia Beach and go to Keegan's Irish Pub, which was our former hangout before we went back to AJ Gators. Great atmosphere. It's probably about the nicest part of Virginia Beach's town center. So we'll be hanging there. And yeah, what can I say? I'm having a fantastic time doing the Wednesday show with Jeremy. We're going to be doing this for a long time. So tune in Wednesday nights, 9:45, 10 p.m. whenever we start. But it is always a great time.
Nice, I agree. And Wat2K's most recent article, the comparing all of our general managers and grading them was fantastic. That is available on greenbeanjetsfan.com. You can see both his articles and Dom C's articles, and they are absolutely crushing it. I'm editing Wat2K's newest article right now, so I'm in the process of doing that, and that'll be coming out soon. And then we have our collected mocks, our first round mocks. We're going to see what the team thinks. Dom C and the other guys that you see right now on the panel, we're all going to put out our mocks, and that'll be fun. Frankie, what do you got cooking, buddy?
Frankie from Flatbush Channel tomorrow morning drops another video about my GM system, my 4-part system. We had the production ratio. Now we're going to have the explosion number. Here's a name to watch out for: Dominique Robinson. Who's that? Well, his explosion number is 76.1 and good is 70. This is an edge player. Draft Network has a 7th round grade on a kid who has an explosion number of 76 when 70 is like excellent. 76. This is a name to watch. So this is what we're going to review tomorrow on the channel tomorrow morning. It's a big giant spreadsheet, so that's always fun. And then we got Tuesday News Day and other types of programs on the old Frankie from Flatbush show.
There you go. Frankie from Flatbush on YouTube, NFL Chaos with Jeremy on YouTube, and of course, greenbeanjetsfan.com. And if you want exclusive content as well as helping the channel, the Patreon is right there in the top of the description. Go ahead and click on that. And it is a blast, man. We have a good time and it's growing every day. And I really do appreciate all of you guys. And if you want to get involved and have a blast with us, the link is right there. Go ahead and click it, and you will be in. So that is our show for tonight, guys. I'm grateful and appreciative of everybody who hung out with us. You guys are the best chat in the business. We will see you next time.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, man. I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.